That music, you know what that means. It's time for BRAP. It's Wednesday night. What's up, everyone? Big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you. Thank you all for coming by, hanging out with us this evening. Please, do me a quick favor. I'm going to drop the link here in the live chat. Please retweet the live chat. Let everyone know that we're live. We got a great returning guest this evening. I see my buddy T-Rock in there. What's up, T-Rock? T-Rock, we got to talk, man. I just beat Elden Ring before we went live. And I'll give my Elden Ring thoughts here in just a little bit. But before I do that, want to introduce the panel here and our returning guest. This gentleman is part of one of the best PlayStation podcasts out there. Him and Jay Barry, every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, they put out a great show. What's Up PlayStation Podcast, which, by the way, there is a link in the description section below. Please check them out. We got Persona back. What's up, Persona? Welcome back to BRAP, sir.
Hey, man. What is good, man? It's been a long time, BRAP.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
Time since I've been on the show, so it feels good to be back and be here to chop it up with the crew.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here, man. Appreciate the invite.
No doubt, man. It's long overdue. And by the way, I did also drop a link for Persona's YouTube channel. Please check out his channel as well. Again, the link is in the description below. So we got my man, Gaming Forte. Forte, I need that summoning sign, sir.
What are you talking about, man?
I don't know. I was trying to summon.
I saw.
You.
I know.
I was like,
listen. First of all, I had to go through
Slow-mo just likes to debate, man. That's the thing. Right?
I had to. You made me go through 3 years of text to get to that conversation. As soon as I said, he was like, he said, Forte, I need a summoning. I was like, what the? And I'll go read, and I'm like, oh my god.
Your co-host and our fellow co-host here on BRAP likes to debate.
Y'all like to argue about stuff that makes no sense. That's what y'all do.
My arguments are well laid out. His are a little bit all over the place, but you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You know,
don't talk about it. He ain't here to defend himself, man. Come on now.
Yeah, well. Okay.
But for real, don't expect somebody to. You don't even do that. Don't expect somebody to go up there and read through 2 days worth of DMs and stuff. Man. And expect somebody to come to your rescue. I'm like, what is y'all talking about?
I wanted you to talk some sense in him. You're the only one that can talk sense into.
I just do that every Thursday at 9 p.m.
Oh, it's a great plug. Yeah, that's true, man. That's
what I save that for. You know,
no
keep
doubt.
my homie. So I can only slander him one time a week, and it's going to be on our show if I do it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. We also got B Money. B, what's going on, man?
Happening, fellas?
You know, man. It's another Wednesday, man. You know,
that's right. It's another great Wednesday, man. BRAP is back. I'm happy to be here, man. So let's get to it.
I'm happy to have you here, man, because I know you got some breaking news. You know, insider.
Yeah, B, we're gonna have to pick your brain here a little bit, man. I've heard some rumblings, man.
Is the initiative really in trouble, man?
I told y'all there was gonna be an announcement prior to that state of play. It happened after the state of play. But I did tell y'all that was coming. I told you that purchase was already made, and it was. So, you know, I know some things. I know a few people who like to whisper in my ear from time to time. So
you need to whisper in our ears.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we can have videos already ready to go.
They whispering sweet nothings in the air. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, somebody, you know, I know you could have dropped that on us the day before, but I'm just gonna let y'all know the Have is about to get purchased, so y'all might want to get those videos ready.
But it's
pull up and be like, it's gonna be exclusive.
Hey, B, are we gonna get this real quick, man? Are we gonna get this Spartacus announcement soon? Because I've been hearing that recently that we're gonna hear something. I heard a rumor GDC, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen at GDC.
Yeah,
no, it ain't gonna happen there.
What do you think, man? When do we get Spartacus?
I think it was supposed to be scheduled for the spring. It's supposed to be a spring announcement. They wanted to have it out prior to summer, but I haven't heard much about it recently. A lot of people are saying that it was kind of put on hold. I don't know if that was due to, just some things that they want to kind of readjust and add to the service, or if they want to, just readjust the rollout of the service. Because we've been hearing about there being tiers to the service, 3 different tiers or whatever. So I'm not sure if they're, rethinking that and how they want to kind of roll that out. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, I'll hear something about it soon. I'll definitely let you guys know when I do.
Yeah, let us know, man, because it's funny. It's like, if you guys, anyone who's been listening for the past, I don't know, couple weeks, months, whatever, B has been dropping little nuggets of information. It's funny because it's like, wait a minute, B said that like a couple weeks ago.
I know. Yeah, I know. He be trying to skate by, unaware.
I can't spill all the beans. You know
Listen,
what I mean?
man.
But,
Listen. Okay, I need to ask you. I need
spill them beans, man.
Listen, I need to ask you a
Spill 'em
very.
beans, man.
I need to ask you a very important question, B. Really
What's that,
important.
man?
There's a game, another tempo title by Sony that's supposed to release in 2022 that I truly believe ain't gonna happen this year because it just doesn't make sense. I would love for it to happen, but I don't think it is. Is God of War gonna come out this year, bro?
It is still slated for this year.
They confirm. Hold up.
They ain't confirming coming this year, bro.
Yes, they did. Yes, they
No,
did.
no,
Yes,
they did not put no. Listen, is
yes,
there a date on it? Is
They
there a date
confirmed
on
at the
it?
beginning, at the very beginning of the year.
Is there a date
let
on
me
it,
explain. Let me
Persona?
explain, Forte. At the very beginning of the year, PlayStation released that article 22 and 22, and they showed 22 games that were confirmed to be releasing this year. And God of War was on that list. Don't have a date. We just don't have a date yet.
And that list is going to be 21 of 21 by the end of this year.
a number of those games have released already.
I'm not. Hey, listen, I agree with that. I just don't think that game's going to release.
I think it is.
I don't think so. But all right, so if it does release, when is it going to release? It's going to be holiday? Because I'll give you this.
It won't be holiday.
If it does release, it's going to release before September, meaning we should be hearing about it soon. If we don't hear about it by this summer, it's not coming out this year.
Well, also, you guys also have to think about it like this as well. God of War, if I remember correctly, God of War got its release date in April that year that it was released, because I remember that Game Informer
April 20th.
They were doing the expose of it and things like that. So I could see God of War. I know there's been some rumors of like God of War releasing in June. I could see a June release date, a June or July, especially when you look at big titles like The Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, which released in the summer, right? Obviously, it was at the height of the pandemic and things like that. So obviously the world is a little bit more normal now, yes. But I do think that with God of War, I could see PlayStation be like, yo, look, this is coming out in July, right? Or June or July. I could definitely see that. I could also see September as well, right before the other big bangers, because I think for October and November, Hogwarts, right? Gotham Knights, Forspoken, Starfield, for those that are into that. I think Breath of the Wild might be floating around that time. Pokemon. It's holiday this year is definitely stacked, right? Yeah. So I guess, and not saying that God of War couldn't stand up to those games. God of War was definitely stand up.
Yeah,
they really obliterate majority of those games. That's right, I said it. But
except for one, except for Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild will stand on its own.
Absolutely not. Breath of the Wild. Anyway,
okay.
I'm kidding. Okay. But I could see either early summer or September release for sure.
Listen, you are the first person to actually make me a believer of that date. Because it's not that I don't want it to come. I just don't want my feelings to be hurt at the end of the year when this game doesn't come at all. So hopefully it does. I do, because it's the reason I bought a PlayStation 5, because God of War is my favorite franchise on the system. I just don't see it.
Well, remember too, they pushed it back, because this was really supposed to release in 2021.
No, man, no. Are you about to really go off on say that they literally gave us a date on that just to sell PlayStation 5s, bro?
Well, this is the thing. Chris Judge had got injured, and they thought
that
he would be able to get, healed up in time.
That's why the game got delayed.
And then they pushed it out to 2022. And like they said, I'm not sure if you watched I think we all watched the PlayStation Showcase last year. But in last year, I remember Corey Barlog and Eric, I forget his name, but the one that's the game director for this God of War, they said that this is the final God of War. So this game is, we're looking at like a 50-hour story here, right? They've been working on this since God of War 2018 released, or 2017 or whatever. I definitely think 2018, right? Yeah. 2018 was such a magical year. We got Spider-Man and God of War that year. Jesus. So I have confidence that it's releasing this year.
Okay, there it is. Have your show back, BRAP.
Look, I agree with Persona. I think and I think B's kind of hinted that the game's probably coming this year.
So when y'all see this crazy meme and emoji that I put up later this year, when we get in September, ain't no God of War. I'm just going to remind y'all of this podcast.
If we don't have a
I
date
just
for God
want
of
to
War,
remind you, Persona, that Sony has not talked about any games beyond Wolverine and Spider-Man that are coming out.
well, Spider-Man is. Okay, finish your thoughts, sorry.
Besides the other stuff, like the deviation stuff, like we haven't seen like any of those games yet. Like they haven't like shown their hand at all. So there's plenty of time throughout the year to get people excited, and I think they definitely will. So God of War is one of those things where it's gonna shake the earth. You know what I mean? Once they get ready to ramp up
shake the earth every time they talk about anything.
God of War gonna make a flat earther a round earth believer. Believe that. You understand? That's definitely happening. That's what God of War is. God of War move mountains. You understand? God of War is definitely about to be magical out here. But I think also when Herman Host was talking about those 25 games, both brand new and existing IPs that they have in development, I think we've only gotten maybe 6 of that. Right. And obviously, we know that they're working on 10 live service games. So, we're still looking at like maybe like 8 or 9. My math is off, American education. Sorry. 8 or 9, games left. You get what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's still a lot on the table, and again, Deviation, Haven, Firewalk, we still need to see what they're working on. Fire Sprite, we know they're working on something new. There's a lot of stuff that's in development, I think. So, it's a lot there. So it's a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. Let me grab these super chats real quick, gentlemen. Ham Solo 05 Gaming, the $2 super chat. Thank you there. Says, try to tell you, Forte. I don't know what he's referring to.
I was on his show yesterday.
Okay, gotcha.
Shout out to him. Great interview, great time. Very hospitable chat, really cool. But I don't care, man. Until I listen, it's like one of your favorite. It's like one of your children. It's like until you see it, you don't want to believe it because we've been burned by so many releases on games, and I'm saying it's gonna come in. I just choose not to believe that game's coming until I actually get a date on it. So that's just me.
If we don't have a date by September, I definitely think that's 2020.
Well, dude, if we don't have a September, that's way too late.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we get to September and it's like, no date, no nothing. It's
man, if we get to July and we ain't got no date or nothing, it's a wrap.
Like June or July and they haven't talked about it, then it's a little sketchy.
I just feel like February. I don't think January is a viable. Well, I mean, it's a viable month. Pokemon seems to always do good in that month. February and March has always been good to Sony. We already know that it's not that they can't compete with games in the holidays. It's just why would you want to, especially when you can have a window by yourself. So I think the earliest is going to be September, and if it doesn't hit by then, 2023.
That's always something that like always boggled my mind. Like it's like, people thinking that like holidays like the most important time of the year when it comes to gaming, and I'm like, no, it's not. Like it's important, yes, but I just feel like being able to release your game any time of the year, I think is just having that type of power is important. I mean, Elden Ring released on a Friday in February. It's like that's one of the biggest games this year. 12 million sold. You get what I'm saying? I think when it comes to the appeal of the game, people want your game, they're gonna buy it regardless of when it releases, right? They could say Breath of the Wild is coming out next week Friday. That's 10, 15 million copies off rip. You get what I'm saying? Last of Us released in June. Ghost of Tsushima released in July. I think it doesn't matter when it releases.
Well, I think it does matter for some games. Every game doesn't have that type of clash. You could put a Breath of the Wild or something like that in the middle of the desert, and it's going to sell because people they have built-in fan bases. Same thing with Horizon now. Horizon. Horizon sold over 20 over the course of 3 years, well, almost 4 years now. And it was a slow burn. It started out strong at first, and then it like just steadily sold over 3 to 4 years. But it sold 10 real quick. And God of War, same thing, sold a bunch real quick. So it just really just comes down to the marketing that's around it. And I always tell people, like, you know, Sony does an amazing job in marketing those games, and even games that don't even really need marketing, like Spider-Man. You know, when you basically paint a subway and tell everybody that's standing on it that Spider-Man's coming in September, you're pretty much setting yourself up for success. Putting God of War on the side of a basketball court during the NBA playoffs, that's, you know, that's amazing. People that don't even play games are going to see something like that. So I just think
man, that's a
it
fact,
does
though.
matter.
My nana, she wanted the PS5 because that Miles Morales. You know, she called me out, baby, I need to go pick me up that PS5. You know, she wanted a PS5. So I picked it up for her, you know, like everybody want a PlayStation. Everybody's getting into gaming now, right? It's very mainstream. Like everybody gets into it, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me grab this other super chat from Jonas the Dad with the $5 super chat. Says PlayStation really wants a game of the year. With Elden Ring, Starfield, and others, they'll push God of War. All right, then we got.
That's the only that's the only hope right there.
I still think Elden Ring's probably
As
the game of the year.
Well, I do too. Yeah, I do too.
If Breath of the Wild and God of War released this year, it's gonna be bloody, because those 3 games, and Horizon as well, but like Breath of the Wild, God of War, and Elden Ring, those are most definitely gonna all be battling for that for that game.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Will Horizon even make the list of game of the year if all 4 of those games came out this year?
Absolutely.
Because you know they only picked 4. They only picked 5. 5 games.
They picked 6.
They picked 6. Oh, if they pick 6, then they'll make it.
Yeah,
I think
you know they got to have their indie darling. He's going to be an indie in there. So
I think the indie that deserves it is Sifu, 100%.
Oh yeah, I agree, 100%.
Unless like Little Devil Inside or Stray or something releases, I definitely think that
Tunic's not getting any love here. Come on.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I think Tunic would be the shit that's gonna get there, because I see everybody, oh my god, Tunic, this little fox with this shield and sword.
Zelda and Star Fox had a baby.
Hey, I'm just like,
Jesus.
Like, yo.
Yeah, I would love to play Tunic. I just don't have the time to do it right now. I'm too backlogged at the moment. So
you playing one game?
No, I just beat Elden Ring. Now I'm gonna go finish Horizon Forbidden West.
Been out since February 25th.
You ain't finished Horizon Forbidden West?
No, I jumped. I put in 20 hours in a Horizon Forbidden West, and then jumped to Elden Ring.
He did what most people do. The same thing that happened to Horizon the first time around when Breath of the Wild came out. They were deep into it, and then something else came out. And it was like, I'm about to go play in this sandbox, and they forgot how to play Horizon when they went back to play it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing Horizon. I'm gonna be trying to summon things that aren't there.
Like,
where's my mimic?
You're gonna have to literally start over.
Where's Aloy's mimic?
I'm crazy because, like, yo, I went straight from Horizon straight to Elden Ring, bro, and I'm just like, yo, 2 open world games back to back.
Oh no,
like,
you can't do that, bro.
That's brutal. I did that one time. I had to take a time out for gaming for a little bit. Let me grab this super chat from our good friend Strictly Gaming with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Strictly. Says God of War standing on its own no matter what game's dropping. When the game drops, everything else don't matter. Persona, give me $1, please.
Hey, Strict, man, you the rich guy, man. Give me
I know that's right.
$10, man.
I know. I see Strictly walks outside of his house. He's got like a nice, touching grass.
My man laughing at these gas station prices, bro. I'm like, you laughing? That shit ain't funny.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I don't know. Gas just went down to $3.65 where I live. I'm happy now. But I actually, I don't have to drive anywhere really because I work from home, so I'm lucky in that regard. But anyhow, all right, let's get to these topics here. We have some. We just mentioned GDC. We have some GDC news. There's a big shout out to Jeff Grubb, by the way. He says, I laugh when I walk instead of drive. Hey, by the way, happy birthday, Jeff. Happy birthday to you, sir.
When was Jeff's birthday? What?
It was yesterday, man. You missed his birthday? Yeah, you missed Jeff's birthday.
I didn't know. Happy belated birthday, Jeff.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, man.
Jeff Grubb, man. Cool guy.
Yeah, big shout out to Jeff. All right, so there was some news coming out of GDC. Phil Spencer and I forget her name now. Sarah Bond did a fireside chat. They talked about some of the. Do you guys see some of the numbers that came out with engagement as it relates to Game Pass?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me hold on. I got to pull this up now because we're talking. What shit? Hold on a sec here. Clearly, I'm not prepared. What's that?
Nothing.
What'd you say, Forte?
Nothing. I got my Shannon Sharp face on right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, so here we go. I got it now. I got it. I just had to find it again. All right, Game Pass data from GDC. Members play 40% more titles after joining. I don't think that's new. I feel like that's been out there. Game Pass members play games across 30% more genres after joining. Average 8. I don't know what this is. 8 times player lift after a back catalog game joins Game Pass. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like what this 8.3 times player lift is. What that means. I'm assuming that just
means that players go in the game after, even though it was a game that already released. Once it goes into Game Pass,
8.
Okay,
the players go up by 8 times.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, but I feel like we kind of knew that. Like we knew that Game Pass was driving. Because remember we had Matt Piscatello on a long time ago, and he was saying that the early data they were seeing was that some games that were dropping to Game Pass were kind of getting like higher engagement or like a increase in sales, right? After they fully hit that.
You don't have to buy the game, but you get into a service.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're gonna go click that game and play it.
Yeah, but I hate to be the Debbie Downer. Who am I kidding? I love being it.
Whoa!
Like,
wait,
looking at those numbers. Oh, okay, finish.
Let me hold on. Let me finish this. Hold on, Persona. We're good. I'm only on. I'm only on number. I'm only on like the first paragraph of this. Look, okay. Persona. We'll get you the mic back, man. Hold on for a second. We'll get you back in here. For new games, for new games for large publishers, 3 times player lift compared to similar games not on Game Pass. Similarly, 5 times player lift to new indie games. 3.5 times lift for Game Pass launching on Game Pass compared to Steam. So here they're actually comparing engagement to Steam. Similarly, 15 times player lift new indie games. Oh, I already said that. I'm sorry. Social conversation increased by 3 times for a game when it announced for Game Pass. Game Pass members 4 times more likely to stream on Twitch. Game Pass members spend 50% more than similar users. That's not really new. I think we knew that before. Post-sale monetization increases by almost 3 times after joining Game Pass. 50% of this comes from new players to the game. So that's the data points that they gave us. Some of this isn't really, I don't think really new for me. I think this is stuff that's kind of been out there in the ether for some time. But go ahead, Persona. What are your thoughts on this, man? Did we lose him?
Oh, no, I'm here. I just have one question, and I think this is one of the most important questions that's going to get asked.
I already know what you're going to ask, man. Go ahead, man.
How many people are completing games in games? Like, yo, I want to know. Like, I'm not even listen, I get it. Game Pass is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is the second coming of Jesus and pays your rent and all this bullshit. Like, I get it. I get it. But the important shit to me is how many games are on average, how many people, like, Game Pass subscribers are actually completing games compared to, people who actually buy it. Like, that's data I would want to see, because if we're seeing more completions of games, or if we're seeing, for instance, let's say Star Wars, just say Fallen Order, because it's the first thing that came to mind. So say Fallen Order, before it hits Game Pass, it had a 15% completion rate, right? But then after Game Pass, it jumps from 15 to 30. Those are the type of statistics and numbers I want to see, because to me personally, I feel like that gives further proof of, okay, Game Pass really does give games a second chance or a second life, because look how many people are actually completing the games. That's what I want to. That's the shit I care about. Lifting down. I'm not on an elevator. I don't give a fuck about that. I want to know about how many people are actually completing games and those type of statistics. That's what I care about, personally speaking.
The funny thing is, when I see something like that, it basically just goes back to, this really isn't anything different than when we were back in the 90s going to Blockbuster and written a game from there. I agree with you, Persona, to the extent that, how many people are actually beating those games and stuff. But I also think about the people that would go rent a game from, their local, rental store for 2-3 days. Those people weren't beating those games either. They were just trying them. The biggest thing is just Game Pass just makes it so easy for you just to download a game directly to your system and try it. Those numbers are just going to be super inflated because it just opens up, if you're a part of that service and you have access to it, like, oh, it's in Game Pass, let me try it out. I guarantee you a bunch of people that knew that Guardians of the Galaxy was a good game, or they heard about it from a friend, was like, well, I'm not going to buy it because I'm not really into superhero games and stuff like that. But as soon as it hit Game Pass, those numbers probably jumped. And I guarantee you the actual amount of people or the number of people that beat the game where it comes to the last trophy or the achievement dropped dramatically, because a lot of those people just booted it up, probably played the first 2 or 3 missions of the game, was like, oh yeah, that game was cool, off to the next thing. Because Game Pass really isn't about trying to complete and finish games, at least in my opinion. I just think it's about just opening you up to the possibility of games that you probably would have never played in the first place, but that's how a lot of people look at that service at this point now.
Hey, yo,
but if completing a game isn't the end goal, then what's the purpose?
Yo, B-Beauty. B-Beauty. Talk to him.
Listen,
bro.
I agree. B, I agree with you, B.
Hey, yo,
but B, I agree with you, B. But are we really about to sit here and say that it's going to be the majority of people that get anything inside of a service that they don't pay for? Because, you pay for it, but let me ask you this. I said this on BRAP not too long ago. It's been a while. It's about 2 or 3 years ago. Being a person that works in retail, I work in retail. I work at GameStop. I don't really have to buy games because they give me a lot of them. I literally told everybody on here that I value the games that I actually buy more than the games that they actually give me. If it's not a game that I'm super excited for, it's a good chance it's just going to sit in my library because I'm not really interested in trying to play it. I'll put it on my thing just to say I actually have it, aka something like for example, I put so much time into Destiny, but guess what? I have never got Destiny free on Xbox before. They always gave it to me on PlayStation, but I prefer the Xbox controller for it. So I literally buy that game every time on my Xbox. And then the only game that I actually played that I actually got for free on PlayStation was God of War, because it's my favorite franchise. Everything else is like, oh, I'll get to it whenever I can get to it. And 90% of the time you don't get to it, but you value stuff that you pay for more. So you're willing to put more time into it because you put monetary gain behind it versus something like a service. It's just like a la carte. You'll try everything on the menu until you find something that you might like, and then and even that's a stretch to say you'll even finish it.
But Forte, like what you just described, is called a demo.
But they don't do demos no more like that.
I mean, a lot of games still do demos, right? And again, let's just use like Elden Ring for example, right? If Elden Ring was something that you were truly interested in, right? That's not a game that's in Game Pass. That's not a game that's going to any type of service. That's a game that's releasing straight up like, look, you're going to pay the $60 or $70 or however many dollars.
Exactly.
Or you're not going to play, or you're going to wait for a sale or whatever. It hit 12 million, right?
Yes.
So going back to the whole Game Pass thing, listen, Game Pass gives new homes like indies, gives new life to some of the smaller titles and things like that. I think that's fantastic, right? But I guess for me, I'm looking at it as what's the end goal? Right, as the game for the gamer, right? Because to have this slew of games available, that's great. But what's the data that's showing that gamers are actually completing more games, or actually completing games that they normally wouldn't buy? Like, what are those? I think those type of statistics, personally speaking, would one, give more validity to Game Pass's the future, but two, it would actually shut up a lot of the Game Pass naysayers that says, oh, well, people are actually completing more games or completing as many games in Game Pass as people who buy the games. You get what I'm saying? I feel like those type of numbers are, and obviously concurrent subscription numbers. I think all that is, to me personally, is more important, right? And I'm not just saying that because, I don't, because I view Game Pass as something that, that's not my future, right? But just in general, like, I love numbers. I'm a numbers guy. What you showed me here is like, you ever been to a meeting and it was a meeting about a meeting?
That's I have those all the time.
I have those all the time too.
Yeah, like why the hell am I here? Like, hey, so yeah, they're gonna have a meeting next Friday and it's gonna go over these graphs and things like this. So make sure you're prepared. So why the fuck are we all here? Like, like why are we here? This could be an email, this could be a Slack message.
Tell me about this.
So I just feel like this was really just a lot of fluff, in my opinion.
So yeah, the biggest thing that the only thing I'll say to that is, I believe, like when they say, like when you say, Game Pass is the future. I mean, it depends on who you're listening to, because that's part of the reason why I just don't listen to Twitter half the time, because that's mostly where that comes from and stuff like that. But for the most part, Game Pass, yes, it's the future, but it's only part of the future. It's part of the future that we are going to be in gaming, where there's going to be a subset of games where you're going to be able to play inside of a service where you don't have to, all you got to do is be subscribed to play it. But even in the interview where Phil and Sarah Bond talked about it, it basically just really touched on the fact that that's not the only business model. That was the one thing that Phil and Sarah basically wanted to talk about, say, there's more than just Game Pass. Like, as much as they are built to basically survive inside of Game Pass, they still value those retail sales where a person says, hey, if I'm not in Xbox Game Pass, is my game going to even survive on Xbox? And they say absolutely. And I think that's something that actually should be commended, by saying that they actually aren't just 100% in saying that this is the only way that you're going to survive on a platform. But in general, that is basically the community.
But Forte, he's not going to say no. Your game's not going to survive on the platform. And I would even say that one of the things that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out is, if Microsoft, and they're kind of more or less a roundabout way kind of training people how to consume content on their platform, if it becomes a situation where it's like, I'm not messing with it unless it's on Game Pass, then then those other publishers are kind of on the outside looking in. I'm not saying that's going to absolutely happen, but I'm saying that's going to be something to kind of, that's going to be something to kind of keep an eye on, to see how that pans out. Because you already see it now. Like, people are, I'm not paying $70 for games or $60 for games. Wait for it to come to Game Pass. You're seeing that because Microsoft's training people how to consume goods on their platform.
But let me ask you something though, BRAP. Xbox, how do we think that Xbox is doing well when it comes to console saturation and stuff? Do we think they're doing decent in that part? Do we think they're doing better than they were doing last generation at this point?
Oh yeah, they're definitely doing better.
Yeah, they're doing better. So the biggest thing is, unless they become somehow the market leader in this really doesn't even mean anything, because honestly, Sony is still going to run away with the overall concurrent when it comes to as many people that's going to be playing on the platform. And as less Sony goes in that direction, you're really not going to see a major hit in the thing that you're kind of talking about. Yes, like on the Xbox side of it, there's always going to be this contingent, like, oh, do you buy the game or do you wait for Game Pass? I find myself doing that for certain games, but like Persona said, those are games that I didn't even think about even wanting to play. If it's a game that's not even on my mind, of saying like, oh, this game looks interesting, but no, I'll wait to see if it hits Game Pass, because it's not a game that I was interested in wanting to play. But something like, a game that's coming out that I want to play day one, like Starfield or something like that. And I'm not saying Starfield because I'm not really a Bethesda person, but say that game I was really interested in, I wouldn't wait for Game Pass for something like that to come out. I'll buy it day one, just like that. Like Destiny was available in Game Pass for literally 2 years. But guess what? I didn't play it through Game Pass. I actually purchased it. And when they announced it, I was like, damn, I could have kept my money. But you know what? I didn't refund my money. I kept it because it was something that I wanted to wholly own and everything like that. So there's always going to be people that are going to still want to own the actual items, and ownership is really, really loose when you're talking about video games now, because none of that stuff is really owned by you as a digital license and currency now. But in general, people just like the fact that I'm supporting developers, and they feel like Game Pass isn't doing that to the extent that they feel is valid for them. And I agree with that to an extent, but ultimately people are going to make a decision that they want to make. And if Sony never goes in that direction fully, you really won't have anything to worry about, because I don't think Xbox is going to surpass them when it comes to like market share or anything.
Absolutely not. Sorry,
yeah.
I thought I was muted.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, Forte. I would quickly welcome Slow-Mo. What's up, Slow-Mo?
Is Slow-Mo's here?
I don't know. I guess he's muted.
Well, he wasn't feeling good, so he said he didn't know if he was coming. I told him,
okay.
I said he better come.
Oh, okay.
Pause. I told him he better come, but
yeah, one of the things that was kind of interesting. Yeah, what's up, Slow-Mo? You there? Hello.
Yeah, man.
What's up, Slow-Mo?
I know I'm sleepy, yo, because like I had the wrong mic connected to Discord, so I was just like,
what made you change your mind, Slow?
I don't know, man. I got a burst of energy. It must be this Red Bull. You know, that's
duh. You go take a Red Bull.
I got a good 30 minutes. I got a good 30 minutes for y'all. Yeah. What's up, Persona? What's up, man?
We're good, Slow-Mo. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm hanging in there, man. I can't complain. What you guys talking about, man?
We're talking about the Game Pass numbers that came out of GDC. You see the data points with engagement.
Oh, the Game Developers Conference.
Yes,
for game developers.
Mm-hmm.
Game developer numbers. It was almost as if those numbers were baked specifically for developers and publishers.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think
Slow-Mo.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Basically, it's numbers to entice developers and publishers to put their games in Game Pass.
Absolutely, yeah. This wasn't.
I can imagine those conversations now in the development conference room. So if we put it in Game Pass, we're getting lifted 5%. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, you're right, Slow-Mo. I mean, there's no this isn't coincidence, right? I mean, this is the way at least to me, the way this seems framed is it's almost like a sales pitch to, developers, publishers.
Enrique, it's not like a sales pitch.
Oh, I mean, it is
a sales pitch.
No, it is.
Specifically developers and publishers. Like, there's no other reason to do that at a place where developers and publishers are. Like, it's for them. Everything is, they have seminars and crap. You like, look, here's how you do live service games. Here's how you, like, they'll have people show up there. Hopefully somebody's up there to show them how to make black hair in video games, right? But like they do all kinds
you should
of
be
stuff
there teaching that, by the way, Slow-Mo.
Don't get me started. But I'm just like they have stuff like that there all the time, and like that's them, Sarah Bond and Phil sitting down and like we're just gonna have a lunchtime chat. It's just lunchtime. We're just gonna let's just discuss Game Pass randomly.
How are you?
You're there to talk up your service clearly because you want to get more, especially more like interesting indie developers whose games might be the next big thing to put their game into Game Pass. You want to get more big time large publishers to launch their games day one in Game Pass, and you want to show them numbers that would make it that kind of move that they've already put so much money into the development and funding these games seem like a good idea. Because if I'm a publisher, right, and I am relying on this particular game, this big AAA game that I've been funding for the past 5 years to basically be my revenue generator of 2022. I'm probably not going to want to put it in a service where people don't have to spend any money directly, money that I wasn't expecting them to spend for years, for this game, directly to me, but instead get that in Game Pass. Like that kind of stuff where you're talking about, what was once, like, I mean, I didn't look at the whole thing, but I just saw the slides, right? But like the whole Game Pass broadens the funnel for day and date games, and it's like 3.5%. It's like you have these kind of numbers here, and you talk like that because you want to make it seem like it's an idea that you're actually going to benefit your game more. But so far, what we've seen with Game Pass is that like publishers, they don't get the kind of pre-order numbers they thought they were going to get. They don't get the kind of appeal. The marketing didn't work, and so they put their game in Game Pass day and day after they already know it's going to be a flop, like Rainbow Six Extraction, right? Oh, we already know that's like less than a month before it comes out. Hey man, it's in Game Pass. Look, it's like they're just like, you know what,
Yeah,
man.
they tried.
We tried.
They knew
Y'all
it
ain't
wasn't
like it, so we was gonna throw it in Game Pass. Hope and a prayer, you know. It is just like
And
that's
you get
cool.
this wave of excitement, like, really?
Right.
I couldn't wait to play this. You know?
Yeah, and you're just like, really? Because you weren't talking about this game at all until now. Like, but it's funny because it's like when people realize they don't have to put up money up front to try something, all of a sudden they're interested in trying something, which like that is kind of like the subscription effect. Like I wasn't going to spend $60 on that. But if I already got Game Pass and it's in there, all right, you know, I'll download it to see what it's like. Oh, I downloaded it. It's absolutely boo-boo. I knew it. Uninstall. You know, or you get some that actually, oh, man, this was actually not that bad. I actually liked it. And then they end up keeping the game. But that's like that last-ditch effort. What I think they want from doing this at GDC is they don't want publishers, they don't want Ubisoft to put Extraction in there less than 30 days before it's about to launch because your marketing efforts have failed and the game's a flop and you know it's a flop because they don't want those kind of games in Game Pass anyway. They taking it because it's like a high profile game, but they want like the games that everybody wants to play in there, not the games that's like, all right, fam, you got us. Let's go ahead and just throw that in there. They don't want that one.
That's the problem. The games like that don't need a service like Game Pass.
Exactly. And so like that's why they're doing what they're doing, because they want you to kind of feel like this shouldn't be a last-ditch effort. Like if you just put it in Game Pass at launch anyway, you're going to make more money. That's what the whole purpose of like these slides, these PowerPoint presentations, the numbers and everything. Now, I do think like any company, because I say this about everybody, you're not getting all the numbers, right? Like these are the numbers that make Game Pass look great. There are other numbers they're not going to talk about, and why would they? Because it's their product, it's their service, and why would they talk about stuff that's not great? The same kind of way like you see AMD come out with a new GPU, and they show you the little chart and they compare it to all the NVIDIA GPUs, and you're just like, really?
So pretty good.
That looks good. You're actually outperforming them in those 4 games. But what about like the other like 45 other games that's going to come out this year? Oh, you're not outperforming them in that. So it's like there's other data that's not being shown.
TA as a benchmark. I'm like, what?
You're right. Like, why are you still using this old ass game? I mean, this new games that came out this year. How come you don't want to use those? Oh, hello. You know, like, where you going, AMD? So it's just like, it's clearly they're using certain numbers that frame their service in the best light. And behind closed doors, you'll get like Take-Two and Ubisoft asking the kind of questions that they really care about. So like, how many exactly are buying the game? Like, let's say we put our game into Game Pass day one. How many are trying the game and then buying it day one? Because they care about like those upfront numbers, because the tail end numbers where the game starts to go on sale and then people pick it up, that's not the same kind of revenue that you get from getting someone to buy it at full price day one. So yeah, they may try the game and then they may like it, but already signed the contract for the game to be in there for 30 days, 60 days, 90, whatever. It's not even the same price it was day one when it comes out. If they buy the game as it's leaving, yeah, I'm making some money off of it, but that's not the kind of money I want to make off of it, you know? So it's just like, there's a lot of questions there, but again, this is stuff that developers and publishers care about, not really me, the gamer, you know? So
yeah, no,
I hardly have energy all of a sudden.
It's because you drink a Red Bull, man. I mean, look, I get it. I mean, these obviously we know why these numbers are being discussed, and they also don't show kind of some of the thing. Yeah, the full picture they don't. But again, I'm not surprised by what I'm seeing in terms of engagement. It just doesn't surprise me based on things that we heard before. And I do want to say something. Like, I think Forte said this. Like, I do see people say, "Oh, this is the absolute future of gaming." I don't agree with that. I think the pie's so big now. There's so many different avenues for companies to make money in gaming now. It's going to be one piece of the pie, and maybe a very big piece of the pie, but it's not going to be the absolute as people think. Because look, people need to remember something. While Game Pass is a great value proposition, not everyone's going to see value in that, because not everyone's going to want to have access to 400 games. Look, I subscribe to Game Pass. I haven't used Game Pass since probably Halo Infinite. That's the last time I've used it. And I probably won't use it again until, if I can get to Tunic, then yeah, that'd be great. But if I don't get to Tunic, I don't see myself using it till Starfield. How much value is there in that, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting how this plays out in terms of engagement. I saw somebody in the live chat said that we were worrying because we were, asking the question, is Game Pass going to, potentially at some point maybe,
Why is it wrong to worry about this, but okay to worry about games being $70? I'm sorry. It's just...
You know what? Let's talk about that real quick, Persona, because
it's just crazy. Because I see people, and not just with Zabit, but with just in general. When you mention Game Pass, people always say, "Why are you worried about this or worried about that?" Blah blah blah. But these same people are worried about games being $70 across the board. That's just like.
Well, we know we know why. It's narratives, It's and that's that's a great segue, by the way, Persona. That's my biggest thing with the $70 thing. It's like, first of all, I don't even know why the conversation came up again, but it came up again, right? $70, and look, I'm not going to begrudge anyone who doesn't want to pay $70 for a video game. If you don't want to buy it, that's fine. That's Not everyone wants to spend $70 on a video game. Not everyone wants to spend, $100 on a pair of shoes. Not everyone wants to buy, an OLED C1. Not everyone wants to buy a 30 like what Slobo and I have, 3070 GPUs. Not everybody wants that. I get that, right? But let's not forget too that gaming isn't different per se than any other consumer product, right? It's impacted by inflation. It's impacted by cost of doing business. It's impacted by human capital, which a lot of people don't talk about. The cost, let me tell you something, especially right now, the way the job market is right now. IT professionals, software developers, or software engineers are in high demand, right? Those people can literally probably now, and the way the job market is today, can go out and kind of name their price.
I did. Sorry.
Would you say, Persona?
I know I did.
Yeah, see, Persona, your example of that, right? Because it is a candidate-driven market right now. I'm in talent acquisition, so by profession. And I'm telling you, it's a candidate-driven market right now. So these things impact companies' budgets, right? Their overhead. Those things go into pricing. Those things. And look, here's the other thing that kills me. Greedy devs, greedy companies. They're making record profits. Oh, they're greedy. Well, no shit, they're greedy. They're for-profit companies. They're in the business to make money. Now, again, I look, nobody wants to pay more money. I don't want to pay more money for video games. If video games were $50 now, I'd be happier. I'd be like, great, it's great. But I also, if at $70, $10 more than last generation, you know what? I love video games. I'm going to pay the $70. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But the problem is, I think what I see is that it isn't so much about, hey, you know what, $70 is for me, as much as it is about $70 is too expensive to push a narrative. To push a narrative, and it's funny because it's always, oh, Sony's the one that's doing it, right? Sony's the one that's doing it. Well, no, Sony wasn't the one that set that price point. It was actually Activision and Take-Two were the first ones, right? Now, again, I'm not going to begrudge anyone who doesn't want to pay $70 for a product, but let's not pretend that we don't have options, right? You can wait for the game to come on sale if you don't want to pay $70, and they come on sale pretty quickly for the most part, unless they're Nintendo games. That's a different conversation.
They're an anomaly.
Oh my, that was perfect. You know, and the other thing too, the other thing I was going to mention is like let's look at this too. Like these are what we're seeing in gaming right now is where you're seeing tiers, right? You're seeing tiers. A AAA game, right? A AAA game is a $70 game, right? This generation. You have indie games that are $40, $50. You have smaller titles that are $15, $20. Like any other consumer product, what we're seeing in games are we're seeing tiers, right? I don't see the amount of bitching that I see as relates to prices in video games as I do with any other consumer product that's tiered, right? I don't see people going out there complaining with pitchforks that the C1's $2,000, you know, and the TCL's $500. Like you don't see that. I don't see people out there complaining that, oh, you know, I'm forced to pay, you know, or I got to pay Netflix, you know, a $10 surcharge to get 4K streaming. They should include that in what I'm paying already. I don't see a whole lot of that either. It just, so I think unfortunately what's happening is that it's not a conversation about, hey, this isn't for me, as much as it is just to drive a narrative to make one company look bad over another.
Well, that's why I believe it would disappear if everybody was doing it, which I do believe in the next few years, $70 will be the norm. I do agree, like when it comes to like TVs and stuff like that, but I do think the fact that TVs are always that price, that's kind of like not the best comparison. You know, you always have people that are willing to pay more. But when it comes to games, people are just used to paying a certain price, and when you change that, they rebel against it a little bit until it's like the norm. Like sooner or later, everybody will be okay with that price.
That's been the problem with the industry.
Yes.
Out of fear of backlash of that, unlike the movie industry or the movie theaters that have done, you know, subtle increases over the years, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gaming industry has done a big increase. In this case, a $10 increase. They did it, you know, last generation. They did it this generation. Instead of doing smaller incremental increases like the movie industry did, or movie theaters, I should say, did. You know, but even if you adjust for go ahead, B.
You know why they felt comfortable making that increase, though, right? Because they saw people running out spending $2,000 on a TV that had special gaming features. They saw people running out and spending $2,000 on a GPU as just one part of their computer. You know what I mean? So of course they feel comfortable saying, all right, this is the time we're gonna make the jump. We've been using all these different resources, you know what I mean? Updating these engines, 4K textures, like all that shit costs money. You know what I mean? Like people don't think about that. Go try to make a game. Go try to make just one thing in 4K and see how much that shit costs you. It's not cheap. So, you know what I mean? Like they felt comfortable enough now that it's okay to make that jump. We've been stuck paying $60 for 2 generations.
I mean, B, just real quick, man. Like you said this last week, and we said this: only 5% of all video games are actually successful, right? So what do these companies? You said this. What does EA do with all that money they bring in? People talk about record profits. What do they do with that?
Yeah, that has to be divvied up. How do you think we were able to get It Takes Two? You know what I mean? Age Light isn't funded, you know what I mean, by the money that falls out of the sky. That comes from divvying up the multi transactions that come from FIFA, that come from Madden.
That's how we got it Unravel too.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like those smaller projects, that's how their stuff gets funded. How do you think private division gets funded?
Yeah.
You think that money just falls out of the sky? No, that comes from microtransactions from NBA 2K. From WWE 2K.
I really wonder if like a lot of these people that complain about this stuff actually look at like financial quarterly reports. Right?
No. They wouldn't even know how to read it, Persona. They would be so lost.
They wouldn't know how to read that P&L.
But Persona asking questions, he know the answers to.
I know the answer. I know, but the reason why I asked that is because like one of the first couple of things that you see on a financial quarterly report is operating costs versus revenue versus profit, right?
Cost of goods.
Yeah, all of the cost of goods, you know, marketing budgets and all that. You know, and listen, I mean, this might come off a little. Can I curse on the show, BRAP?
Yeah, man. We cuss all the time.
this might come off a little fucked up, right? But listen, man. One thing I think all of you need to understand, not you here on the panel, just in general, I'm speaking in general. Gaming is a hobby. Gaming is not a necessity. It's not something that you need to do. It's not something, you need to breathe. You need to eat. You need to take a shower. Well, hope a lot of y'all don't do that either, but you need to take a shower. You need to, brush your teeth and wash and eat the proper foods and like that's shit that you need. Gaming is a hobby, right? And in social media, and this is the thing, social media is such an echo chamber of people that is regurgitating the same shit day in and day out and day in and day out. And what happens is you have a lot of people on here who think that this is how the world thinks. This is not how the world thinks, because if this is how the world truly felt and thought, this wouldn't be happening at all, right? If this is how the world truly thought and felt, Gucci belts, Jordans, Prada, Dior, Fenty, Chanel, 5-star hotels, all this bullshit that's out here that people spend money on that they don't need, they want. If it's something that you truly want, people will buy it regardless of the price.
True.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a quality product and people want it bad enough, they'll go out and buy it, right? And that goes for games. The same thing goes for games. It's a hobby. Respect the hobby. Buy into the hobby. You don't have to buy it right away. If your pockets ain't built like that, if your pockets ain't built for tough, that's okay.
He said for tough. Oh my god.
You might have to wait. You might have to wait.
But Persona.
Fine.
But that's the Persona. Real quick. I'm sorry, man. I just to your point. You said wait. People act like there's no options. Like you can't wait for the fucking game to come on sale.
FOMO.
It's like
FOMO. That's FOMO,
they want to talk. They want to talk. They want to talk in these spaces and talk on Twitter.
Yep.
People want to be a part of the conversation.
Yep.
So it feels like people are it feels like they're being gatekept because of that price, because they cheap or because they can't afford it or because they think it's immoral or whatever. And listen, it's a hobby, man. Like I don't know how else to explain it. I go to Comic-Con every year, right? New York Comic-Con every single year. The tickets last year were like fucking almost $300 because of, pandemic and everything that was going on, right? And then when you get in there and you at the booths and all that stuff, it's that price or you ain't getting it. Like, but people buy that stuff and shit sells out every year because that's people want it. That's how the world is. That's just how this shit is, man. And all these people that are on like this crusade to bring gaming, I want to, everybody want to be the messiah of gaming and the voice of gaming and the voice of reason, all this bullshit. I'm just like, bro, listen, man, it's just a hobby. It's a hobby, man. I love gaming, man. I'm a game until I'm 90 or 100 years old if I make it that far. You understand? And I'm gonna be gaming, and by that time, games might be $150. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna be on Social Security, so I'm good.
Persona, we were paying, and I'm older, right? So in the 80s, we were paying in today's dollars $118.
Yo, y'all were paying some crazy. Yo, listen,
I mean,
Nintendo and like NES prices and all that shit. Yo,
I mean,
and them games, man, some of them joints should be $89.
Hey, bro, them games when they released in whatever state they released. That was it. You got what you paid for.
We had no updates.
Or something like that.
No updates. Yeah, but Persona, I made that point. And every time I make that point, I'm like, well, look, if you adjust for inflation, like. We are actually paying $3 less for AAA titles at the start of this generation than at the start of last generation when you adjust for inflation. Meaning that $60 in 2013 is worth $73 today, right? Is the equivalent to $73 today? Okay. And I say that,
BRAP, they're not trying to hear about no macroeconomics. You boring the hell out of them, man. They're not trying to hear about that. Shit, they're not trying to hear about inflation. And what's the other thing? Is it not GOP? I forgot the other thing.
You talking about the gross domestic product, GDP?
Yeah. They don't want to know about no gross domestic product and all that bullshit.
What is that? Is that a DLC? Is that DLC content?
I want to hear about that. How much I got paid for that?
I got a D- in macroeconomics in college. There's a reason for that because I don't care about this stuff. Yeah, you guys are hitting on the hill
in the college.
Oh yeah, that was a fun class for me. That and microeconomics. It was very illuminating.
Economics is boring for me.
Hey, look, it was awesome. Anyway, look, I'll say what I always say when this argument comes up. Value is subjective. You know, the same people that will say I'll never spend $70 on a game, or let their favorite game of all time get remade and see what they say.
Well, I
Let-
asked somebody a question a couple days ago where they said that they want gaming to continue to grow and get better, and I asked, how much are you willing to pay for that? How much are people really not to be like real talk, because they were against $70 games, but they want gaming to grow and get better, and I'm like, how much are you willing to pay for gaming to grow and get better? Couldn't answer it.
Yeah, because the thing is that I think it's partially they don't know the number themselves, but I think that like if they are really honest with themselves, they know that for their favorite game of all time, for the kind of the games they're most hyped for, if the price wasn't $60, if it was $70, if like the publisher was just like, man, we know this fire, $90, that's the standard version, take it or leave it. What they gonna do? They're gonna do exactly what these cell phone fans do. Well, every time Apple comes out with a new release for some outdated damn iPhone, it's $200 more than it was last year. What you gonna complain? No, you're not. Get your ass in line. Yeah, exactly. Get your ass in line and wait like everybody else.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and wait on the website for the pre-order for it to go live so you can hit pre-order, because they already know our brand is so strong that we can price it whatever we freaking feel like pricing it. And what are you gonna do? You're gonna buy it. So like that's just how that's how it works. That's value. Even though the actual phone is an outdated piece of crap, by technology standards in 2022, you still feel like I gotta have it. And because you gotta have it, you're willing to spend more for that. It's the same reason why for the past year and a half, we've been dealing with GPU scalping in the PC market, because people said, man, I can't play these games on my 1060. I just can't do it. I got to spend money on this 3090. It's $2,000 now. It shouldn't be.
Listen, man.
Wait, real quick, Slow-Mo, to your point.
They go to eBay and they do it, and that's why scalpers kept doing it.
Hey, real quick.
Them scalpers eating good.
Yeah, they are.
Real good. God, they got themselves out of debt and everything.
I
got
do
themselves out of debt.
scalping as well, man. When the PS5 first came out, I had 4 of them bad boys. Best believe, scalping century. You understand?
Hey,
man.
it's capitalism, man. It's capitalism. Supply and demand. Let me real quick, Slow-Mo, to your point though. Like I had a 2070. I played what was it? What the hell was that game? The zombie game that just came out recently.
Dying Light 2.
Dying Light 2. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it, ray tracing, had all this stuff, and I was not happy with the way it was performing on my PC. And not that it was performing bad. I wanted all the ray tracing features on. I wanted 90 frames per second, right? I wanted everything. And I bought a new PC for that shit. Not for just that game, but for other games, but in the future.
Of course.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you want, like to your point, if you want something, like I didn't really need a new PC, but I wanted it.
No, you didn't.
I wanted it. Yeah,
and that's all it takes. You don't need it. As someone said, this is a hobby. Don't nobody need gaming. You're not going to die if you don't play Elden Ring.
But this is my thing, and this is why I say, again, this is gonna sound real messed up, but I let me explain myself, because I know somebody in the chat, you're trying to gatekeep. But this is why I feel like, certain people just ain't built for these type of conversations or really being a part. Like gaming is open to everybody, but there really is levels to this, and I don't mean that in a rude way.
No, there are levels.
The gaming community, from my experience, from being a part of other communities, like I'm a part of statue collecting communities, pen collecting communities, the manga community, anime community, car community, things like that. There isn't this. I'm just going straight up. This type of shit doesn't exist. Gaming is the only hobby and the only form of entertainment that I'm familiar with where any type of increase in pay or any type of trying to really make sure that shit can grow and get better, there's always pushback. Gamers don't want to pay more, or they don't want to pay what devs or publisher or whoever is asking for, but they want gaming to continue to get better and better, and then they wonder why microtransactions is rampant through the industry. I mean, listen, bills got to get paid, pockets got to get filled, man. As much as people may hate to admit it, listen, I'm trying to get my bread. You feel me? If my manager came to me and said, "Yo, we about to increase your pay to $500,000 a year, but we got to increase our product by $25." Hell, you increase that shit. I want this
25.
bread.
Yeah.
I want this bread, man. I want the bread,
go
man.
ahead and increase that.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
I increase that
And
shit. I want the bread, man. And that's how everyone is
you
thinking.
need me to go out there and start explaining to people why it's a good idea to spend more for it?
Absolutely.
I will market for you too. Even I'm just not even my role, but sure, I'll do some marketing. Let's do some marketing.
Hey, real quick, let me before I forget these super chats. Let me grab these super chats real quick when we get back to the conversation in just a second. Sir X-Men with the $2 super chat says, "Love gaming, make you forget about this crazy world." Thank you for that super chat, Sir X-Men. And then Sir X-Men again says, "The real test Call of Duty on Game Pass this year." Thank you, Sir X-Men. And then we got one more here. Jonas the Dad with a $5 super chat says, "As a teen, $79, $89, $99, and those had been consoles. I bought Elden Ring for $79." So I think he's referring to I think it was the N64 era, right, where the games were like $79 or something. There was actually Street Fighter. There was a Street Fighter game that was like $89 retail, like 20 something years ago that came out. Real quick, B Staples and $5 super chat says,
B Staples is crazy.
He says, with games going $70, I expect quality to increase, but that hasn't happened. Elden Ring is the best game of this gen so far, and it's 60, not 70.
Yo, my man.
Okay.
Give me the number to your dealer, because he spiced your shit, bro. Like,
what
are you smoking, bro?
Yeah, let me just say something real quick. I paid $70 for Horizon Forbidden West. There's fucking quality increase in that game. Like I don't know, like what, like
everything with Horizon,
like visually,
everything is fundamentally better.
Yeah, like 70. I mean, like
Ratchet and Clank, Returnal,
like
Demons. Like, what are we talking about here?
That's what I'm saying. Like what is quality? Like define that. Everyone throws out like, "Oh, I want more quality." Well, define what does that mean?
Yeah,
right?
That's the subjective thing. What one person feels as quality would be like, I don't care about that at all to somebody else. This is why I go back to this whole thing is subjective, because like it could be the best strategy game in the world. I'm not going to play it. Like its value to me is zero. Like you should pay me to play that game. But the person that loves that kind of stuff is going to spend whatever they have to spend in order to play it. Like it's subjective. So when B Staples is talking about he expects the quality to be higher. I mean, well, look, your expectation of quality is different than someone else's. So like that's a personal measurement that you yourself are going to have to determine when you decide to buy games. Are you going to spend X amount of dollars for a game that you deem it to be of whatever level quality that you deem it to be? This is always how it's going to be. Like the level of quality is all determined by you, nobody else.
Listen. Yo, Sir Nick, he gotta go. Listen, I love Elden Ring, man. I platinumed this game last week. I'm a beast. I'm an Elden Lord out here. You understand? I love the game. The amount of reskin bosses in this game. Listen, man, that quality shit y'all talking, stop it immediately. It's a great game. It's fun, but bro, I think I might have fought like 10 tree sentinels, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Avatars.
Well, no, but
how many magma worms am I going to find in the fucking dungeons?
Yeah,
you understand? Like, I've fought like 6 of these shits.
But Persona, they even reskin bosses from other games and put them in the Elden Ring.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I feel like the Godskin duo are like the monster.
Get like 5 times in the game,
they're like the monsters in horror movies where you thought you killed it and then it comes back the next movie. You're just like, damn. But die. Like
so here
that last fight where they literally keep reviving themselves in the last fight.
I just want to say something. So Kid Creed says capping for Sony raising the price of their games is dumb. bro. What? Oh my
So
God.
Sony was the only one that raised their prices?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Where were you when EA did this?
Yeah.
Where were you when Take-Two did this first?
Yeah, Kid Creed. I want you to.
It's not capping. That's the thing, though. Like,
It's
no,
not-
no one is like. Listen. For me, and I can only speak for myself, but I'm sure the other fellas here on the panel, they'll definitely agree or disagree if they feel. I don't give a fuck what any of you do. I'm gonna be straight with you. You feel me? I'm gonna enjoy my games. I got a ton of shit that's on the way, a ton of shit that's on the horizon. Either buy it or don't. Like that's where I'm at with all of this. Either buy it or don't. Wait for a sale. Wait for it to come to Game Pass if it ever does. But at the end of the day, you just gonna be looking on Twitter and on YouTube and see everybody have fun. You just gonna be no, I'm not paying a goddamn. I could buy a McDonald's fucking Big Mac, but then I'm not paying that for this extra for this. You do what you do, man. I'm gonna have fun.
Look. No one here is look. No one. Oh, let me just say something here. No one. Look, and I don't think Kid Creed heard us earlier, but nobody here is wants to pay more. No one wants to do it. No fucking consumer wants to pay more money for stuff, right? But there is a business reality to this conversation that many of you don't understand, right? And we also got to remember something too. This relationship that the consumer and a company has, this symbiotic relationship we have with one another, right? It works two ways. Companies have the right to charge whatever they feel the value of the product is worth to the market. And then the market and the consumer has the right to say, you know what, we're going to accept that, or no, we're not going to accept that, right? So there's options here. You can either choose not to buy the $70 game, or you could say, you know what, I'm going to buy it because I see value in it, or I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, but no one here is saying, oh yeah, we want Sony to increase prices. We want these. No, nobody's saying that. What we're saying is that this fuss about this price increase is really like not that big of a fucking deal. Like it just really isn't. And to the Elden Ring thing, let me tell you something. Okay, Elden Ring quality, yeah, I wouldn't brag about quality per se with that game. But let me tell you, I will say this. I put 117 hours in that game. Had From Software charged me $70 as a consumer, getting 117 hours out of a game for $70, that's what? That's penny to the dollars per hour per entertainment, right? Shit, you go to the movies and spend like $20 for 2 hours. I would have been okay with $70 for that game. But that's me, though, because I got 117 hours of that game. To me, that value right there, that 117 hours for $70, that's worth it for me. Now, if it's not worth it for you, I get that.
Yo, is B Staples for real right now? Okay, so look, Persona said there are reskin bosses in the game. That's his statement, right? There are respin bosses in the game. B Staples responds saying that the main bosses aren't reskins, and naming 2 additional bosses that are not reskins. Like, how does that?
And Radon, like, come on, bro.
How does that counter what he's saying? First of all, Melania, that's not even.
That's a secret boss.
That's an optional boss. You don't have to fight her to beat the game. That's one.
And by the way,
Radon
and by the way,
an optional boss as well. That's not even the main boss. So what are we?
You don't have to fight either of them in order to beat the game. But guess what? You do have to do. You do have to fight the Tree Sentinel like 6 times, but in order to finish the game.
And I will say this: some of the cadence in the boss battles are very similar to other bosses in Dark Souls and in Bloodborne. Like if you've played Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, there's some bosses there. The cadence is like, wait a minute, I've seen that. That move I saw. Like I think with what's her face with Melania. I felt like at times her cadence a little bit was similar to Saint Ishin with how quickly he moves and that slashing attack that she does. I mean, she does it at a much grander scale, but very similar in DNA with those attacks. So, anyhow.
I love Elden Ring too, man. Like, I love that game.
Yeah, Gil, the game is awesome.
We're not going to sit here and say that Elden Ring is quality. Or try to say that's the most high quality game out right now with this reskin.
I gotta.
Reskin bosses.
So here's the thing, B Staples. He's saying if a game reskins bosses, it's not quality. What?
Yo, you know what's funny? In God of War 2018, that was people had an issue with that, with having to fight
the same troll. Yeah, the same troll.
Yeah, had an issue with that, but you making excuses for this? Come on, man, stop it.
Yeah, I like, but the thing is, quality exists on a spectrum. See, this is the kind of shit that drives me fucking bonkers. Like, people like hone in on one thing and they want to dismiss everything else. These games, everything about video games, exists on a spectrum, right? Graphics, gameplay mechanics, bugs, you know. This, I mean, it's not. Anyhow, I don't know. Yeah.
I think actually the fact that Elden Ring has reskin bosses, repeat bosses, it has clipping out the ass. Every time you ride your horse, your weapons and your gear are clipping through your cloak and everything else. The fact that like draw distance is 10 feet away from your character. You know, all this stuff that gets nitpicked in other open world games is present here in Elden Ring, yet it is a great game and likely going to win Game of the Year this year. I think that speaks to the fact that, like, when people say, oh, well, why is stuff $70, or like the quality better be higher? Well, look, you know,
it's because Sony's nickel and diming people, Slummo, don't you know?
It's like the quality, level of quality is subjective. Is you're not, like, people are loving this game despite all of its technical issues. Despite on PC, you got a guy saying "Go to Brazil" coming in your game, you know, tap dancing on your face. You can't do no damage to him. He slapped you one time, and your game goes into infinite death mode. Like, that's happening to people, but people are still like, hey, you know, they'll fix it. I'm enjoying this game. As soon as they patch that, I'm right back in there fighting bosses, getting killed. You know, it's the level of quality. Like, you know, if From Software wanted to charge $70 for this game, it probably would have. Yeah, they could have got away. It would have sold. They still would have sold that 12 million in the first week.
Absolutely.
So, like, it's really not about like, oh, an arbitrary price, which is just weird that you guys are like jumping on Sony for this. As B Money said, Take-Two and EA did it first, and
Activision.
And Neri was in Activision, but Neri was a peep made about that. Like, Sony isn't the only one doing this, one, and two, it's just $10, bro. Like, I don't get like
that, so that's the part that's the part that
it's
that's
not
the part,
like they doubled the price. It's not like it's $120 a game. Like, I don't understand.
That's the part that's the part that kills me. It's $10.
Don't go to Starbucks one day out of your week if that's a big deal.
Like don't $10. It's 10. Yeah, like don't, you know, like you could easily save $10 in a week by not going to Starbucks.
Don't get your Fente latte at Starbucks. Okay, just get a black grande and you're good.
But what's wild here is, like, someone said, you know, Call of Duty alone makes how much money off transactions alone separate to the game purchase.
Hold on, let me attack that real quick, bro.
Yeah.
Why you pocket watching? We can't pocket watch you, but you pocket watching the company. Don't worry about the money the company make. Yo, that shit is crazy, bro. People will tell you why, don't worry about the money I spend, the money I make, blah, blah, blah. But they sit here pocket watching the very company. Well, they got microtransactions. Why they need my money? Why you pocket watching? Don't watch. Get your hand out of my pocket.
They want microtransactions because they want to make money. I mean, I don't understand. You guys, what don't you guys understand about for-profit companies? I don't understand. Like, you guys not pay attention in class? Maybe they didn't take a business. I don't know. Look, again, if it's not for you, don't buy it. Don't buy it. That's it.
The market will dictate what is overpriced and what's not overpriced. That's just the way it's always been. Like, you know, the people in this community, we're a drop in the bucket. We're not even a drop in the bucket. We're water vapor. Okay?
Jay Vargas just said, "Oh, wait, real quick."
Hold on. Look, we're not you're not changing anyone's mind with this kind of talk. What's going to end up happening is how it is. People will look at a price and say, I'm going to pay that, or I'm not going to pay that, and that's it. And these companies on a macro level will look at where they price something, whether they overcharge people for microtransactions. So look at Halo Infinite with like, you know, cat ears being like $20 or some shit like that, right? Is that overpriced? Well, let's see how many people bought the cat ears. Damn, a lot of people bought these stupid ass cat ears. Guess it wasn't overpriced. Like, that's how it works. People complaining about how it's stupid that you charged X amount of dollars for microtransactions. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Who bought it and who didn't buy it? If nobody bought it, yeah, you're right, it was overpriced. But but a ton of people bought it, you're the one on the outside looking in like, why are you guys running around with cat ears? What's wrong with you guys? They're having fun. What about you?
Yeah. So Jay Vargas says $10 can't even get a half tank of gas. How y'all acting like it's nothing?
Because it's $10. Like,
yeah,
that before, it's $10.
He's
if y'all knew how much I spend on
us.
sneakers a week, like I'm not crying about $10. I don't give a fuck about $10. Like, it's not a big deal to me. I spend $300 on sneakers a week. Like, it's not a big deal. I just spent $100 on PSN Network today. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. $10 is nothing. Some people, it might be something. $10 might, you know what I mean, have to get you to the end of the week. Other people, it's nothing. You know what I mean? You can't be mad if people are saying $10 is nothing to them. That's them. That's their life. That's how they built their life. That's how they, you know what I mean, move out here. But if $10 is something to you, then okay, it's understandable. But you can't look down on people who are like, no, $10 is not a big deal to us.
I don't even understand the analogy about like a tank
it's,
like
it's,
gas.
it's a terrible analogy. He's kind of just he's proving our point.
It's proving our point. $10 is nothing. You can't even get half a tank of gas with $10 today. So like, yeah, like we said, it's not even worth the argument here because it's nothing. You thank you for proving our point. You shouldn't even be complaining about this.
Anybody
right?
in this chat, not you in the panel, but not then in the chat, if anybody in the chat that's complaining about $70 but has the newest iPhone or newest Pixel or newest Galaxy or whatever, kindly have several seats.
Well, here's the thing.
Especially if it's that S23 Ultra. Is the 23 out yet?
No, 22, yeah.
22,
which and by the way, I'm actually upgrading that. And but here's the thing, like if you're already paying $60, these companies know too, you're paying $60 already. A $10 increase isn't necessarily an egregious increase for people that are already paying $60 for content, right? If you're paying,
are putting out $300 collector's editions and they're selling out in minutes.
Thank you, B.
They know that they can increase the game to $10. It's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The market has gladly accepted $70 games. So again, if it's not for you, I'm not going to begrudge anyone who doesn't want to pay $70. Don't do it. Wait for it to go on sale, like any other consumer product that's tiered the way gaming is, the way software is in gaming. There's $40 games for you. There's $50 games for you. If you don't want to pay a AAA game, the market, these companies, the gaming industry is saying to you as a consumer, if you want a premium AAA game experience, right? This is what it's going to cost you. If you don't want to pay for it, we have other offerings for you. We have smaller indie titles.
This is the problem, BRAP. And I think this is kind of like a twofold thing with the whole $70 thing, and why this kind of coincides with Game Pass a little bit. Because you have people saying these games should be in Game Pass. They want everything to come to Game Pass, so you don't even want to pay. You don't even want to pay the previously accepted MSRP of $60. You want it even lower than that. You want $15, $5 a month. And there's a crowd of people like that. Oh, it should be in Game Pass. This should be in Game Pass. Day and date. Ah, man, fuck out of here. You got it. Yo, listen, man. It's a premium experience. If you don't think it's a premium experience, then don't buy it. Don't pay it. That's it. It's that simple.
And that's what people don't understand. AAA games, in terms of software and games, video games, is a premium experience. It's the highest tier in video games, right? It just is what it is.
I just want people to stop dictating to other people what value is. It's just getting annoying.
Yeah, value is subjective. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like, just shut up. Like, oh, it's not worth this. It's worth that. Okay, if it's not like that to you, You get all your games on sale, get all your games through Game Pass and PS Now and PS Plus when those games show up, and that's it. You know, you wouldn't wait for Black Friday to buy all your games for the year if none of these games are worth full price to you. But that's you.
Yeah,
if someone else, how they want to spend their money on what they want to spend it on, let them do that. It's just really not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's interesting because somebody in live chats like, you know, how are games on PS4 $60 and games on PS5 $70 for the same game? Well, first of all, there's a reason for that. There's actually B's laughing. This is funny because
oh man.
Yeah, B, you want to explain that, man? You want to go ahead and explain that?
Man, they're not the same game. They might have the same box art. You know what I mean? It might be titled the same, but it's not the same exact game. There's different features that come along with the game on the PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? So that's why it costs a little bit more because of those features on that console. If it was the same exact game with no additional features, then of course there'd be an outcry.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for the increased price, and that's what you're paying for.
Yes.
To say it's the exact same game is just hilarious, but whatever.
Yeah, to piggyback on what B said, this is Blitz Phantom who said, why are you paying more for a PS5 game when that same game is $60 on the PS4? Wasn't the price of entry buying the PS5? You're literally being triple dipped and taken advantage of. Blitz Phantom, I gotta say, congratulations to you, sir, for saying the most ignorant shit I've read tonight. Because first of all, they are tangible differences on the PlayStation 5 version than the PS4 version. One of those such tangible things is DualSense haptic feedback controls, the rumble feature of the DualSense controller, 3D audio, faster loading times, better graphics resolutions. They are tangible things that make those versions different. Hence the $10 price difference. I mean, I don't know how you missed that, Blitz. Maybe you weren't paying attention when Sony discussed that. I don't know.
We could go even deeper than that. Let's look at Spider-Man Miles Morales and look at the work that Insomniac put in on the PS5 version compared to the PS4 version. You got two different modes. Yeah. You got two different modes that have ray tracing in them. You've got how they did like even created Miles is different. They used the old school hair cards method on the PS4, but actually dynamically rendered each individual hair on his head for the PS5 version. That's completely different technology being deployed for both versions of the same game. Now, sure, a lot of AAA games don't do that. If it's a cross-gen game, they go to the lowest common denominator. There's one version of the game technically, and then what they do is they just scale up the visuals on the newer generation version. But if you're talking about specifically PlayStation first party, typically what's going to happen here is that the version that's on PS5 is going to be a different build than the version that's on PS4. So they are putting more time in to get that done. And if they feel it's still going to charge $10 more for that, that's their prerogative.
Yeah. And just like it's our prerogative to say, no, I'm not buying that for $70, right? Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's somebody saying like, that we're praising. No one's praising. We're just saying this isn't a big fucking deal. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Either buy or you don't buy. That's it. End discussion. Big shout out to our buddy Chrono. What's up, Chrono? Says with a $10 super chat. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Says we gamers are our own worst enemies. Stop buying the microtransactions. Stop buying games that are $70. Show those companies you're not willing to take it. But we won't because we are gamers. Because we as gamers are stupid. Thank you for that super chat, man.
Hey, stupid.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. Y'all do not want a life where there's no microtransaction. I'm telling you, you don't. People saying it right now. People been crying about microtransactions for years. Okay, let us wake up tomorrow and there'll be no microtransactions in none of these games and see what happens over the next 5 years.
And let me tell you something. The industry tried doing in the early infancy of microtransactions, try to do some pretty egregious shit. What was one of the things they did? They did what did they do? What did they used to do? Remember they used to try to charge you for like used games or something? Remember that?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
trying
you had to
to get
buy
us with the online pass.
yeah, you had to buy the
Yes.
online pass if you bought a used game. EA
Yeah.
started that shit.
Yeah, and the market said no, we're not doing that. Fuck you, EA, we're not doing that. And EA stopped doing it.
Paying to win, paying for damage boosters and PvP multiplayer games. That was something else that was implemented by EA, and that was the biggest outcry for Battlefront 2 when they tried that crap, and eventually the Forever got to the point that Disney gave EA a phone call, and that put all that to rest. So like, look, when things go, when there's the whole, but what if this and what if that? Okay, yeah, let them go do those what ifs and see what happens. The market will dictate what will and will not be acceptable.
You know what else too? Like, I think this is also something that's got to be like asked. How much games are these people buying, like on the real, like just in general? If you only playing free to play shit, or you only playing shit on sale anyway. No disrespect, but your opinion really holds no weight in the conversation because you're not buying shit at a premium price anyway.
Oh, they spend more though. They don't realize it, but they do spend more. Like that's why the mobile market is like overall revenue of gaming, like 50% of all of it. Yeah, it's the mobile market is the biggest market there is. Is the reason why Tencent is the biggest revenue generating company in the gaming industry, and they're mobile monsters is because nobody pays anything up front, and they convince these people, oh, it's free. I'll try it out. It's free. Then they get addicted to the game. And then that's when they get hit with like the gotcha. Oh, I can't go no further until I spend money, but I can't stop playing. All right, I'll spend that $20.
I want this outfit. I want this character. I want this weapon or whatever the hell.
It just keeps going. Next thing you know, they didn't spend $1,000.
So here,
and these are people who wouldn't spend $60 up front for a game. They spent like way more than that on the back end after they started playing it.
Here's the other thing. So the Blitz Phantom guy says, didn't you already buy it when you bought the console? Now you got to pay extra just to use the features you just bought.
What?
Oh boy. I tell you, I don't even know how to answer that.
You know what? You bought a ticket. You bought a ticket to go see a movie, but you still gotta pay for the food at the concession stand. They give you this shit for free. Like, what? Also anti-consumer. Why I gotta pay for the popcorn and drink? I just spent $15 to watch the movie. This is my ticket right here. Why I gotta pay for this? Like, like the fuck we like? Could you imagine if the and this is why I say, this type of thinking. This is why I'm telling you, this only exists on social media. Because if people actually went into the real world thinking like this, they get laughed out the fucking store. People aren't thinking and talking like this in real life. I'm telling you, they're not.
No, they're not. This is Persona. I agree with you 100%.
If you with your shorty or if you with a new chick and y'all go to the movies or whatever, like, oh, babe, can you buy me some popcorn? And, oh, I want some of those Twizzlers, whatever the fuck, right? You gonna say no? No, you want to have a good time, man. You know what, man? Give me 2 boxes of Twizzlers. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here, man? No one in the real world thinks and talks like this. They don't.
I mean, Blitz,
buy what they want.
Blitz, when you go buy a car, are you expecting BMW to, give you the M package, the upgrade? Is that
no,
what
they
you're saying?
expect the BMW to give you the gas.
Yeah, is that Where's the gas, BMW? I mean, like, what do you like?
Also my take up too.
I mean, like, I just, and of course,
let's use that movie theater analogy for a second. Perfect analogy.
Wait,
how much is that food in the movie theaters?
Really expensive.
It's way overpriced.
If it's just you and like your significant other, you spending at least $40. No cap.
Right. For
don't go to movies with no family.
That's
easily like $80.
Yeah, $80, $100 on food. On food that if you were not in the movie theater, you wouldn't spend a dime on because the food sucks. But guess why you spend the money there? Because, I mean, you could illegally bring some food in if you want, but like you're not supposed to. And most people don't. And they know you want to eat something, some popcorn, drink some cherry Coke, some nachos, whatever. while you watching the film, and they know that, and that's why they price it the way they do, because they got you, and they can price it whatever the heck they want to, because you're not gonna be sitting there cottonmouth watching Batman.
Hey,
can you imagine sitting there cottonmouth?
I need some water. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, drink out the sink.
I'm gonna go get that $10 water. I'll be right back. Right, like that's the way it works. And so look, that's how markets are. If they know that they can get you to spend something, they will. If
but
they
you're
feel
paying
like
for the experience though too, because like I go to like when I go to the movie theater, I go to the Alamo, and Alamo you're paying even more because it's a diner experience.
Yeah,
so,
they bring it to you.
Our ticket is like $20, and then we'll get like a burger and fries, we'll get like some wings and popcorn and all this other shit. I'll end up walking out of there spending like $125.
Right.
But it's a quality experience, and I'm happy to pay that because of the experience that it provides.
When you leave the Alamo, you're not like, man,
I'm happy.
You like this shit was great.
Nah, man, you got a restaurant quality meal brought to your seat. Is what you got,
bro. I'll pay for that all day, man.
Yeah, I'll definitely pay for that all day.
Yeah.
Out here we got Enrique. You may know what I'm talking about, like out in VA. I think it's in.
You talking about iPick?
No. But there's the one where it's got like the seats. It's got these seats that vibrate and like they move. So let's say like you're watching a movie and it's a car chasing, the explosions, the seat.
The seat vibrates.
Yeah. And they bring you food, and they do all that extra stuff, and you can reserve your specific seat. And and each seat is so separate from one of the other people that like
they give you blankets and shit.
Arm out and touch the person.
They give you a blanket.
Like $30 a ticket. All right, I got you. Like I get why it's that kind of cost. So it's like like if they couldn't charge that for your typical theater, your typical AMC theater. Because people understand the level of quality isn't worth that.
Because again, it's a tiered experience. Like we've been saying, so this guy Bliss Phantom saying they can laugh, but I'm not the one getting dragged. I'm not getting dragged, sir. I am dragged. I see value in this thing. It's my money. I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. But he also wants us to answer him why we're paying for what you already paid for. Explain that. I think he's talking about the whole. Because there's that
Chrono D-Box. That's it. D-Box theaters. Yes, that's what it's called.
There's that fanboy narrative. Well, Xbox is out there doing it. They're giving free upgrades. You're paying double with Sony. It's like I've never paid double with Sony. Like I don't know what. I mean, I don't.
Bro, what new games you getting with Xbox right now? Like, what we talking about? Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, no one's paying extra for nothing. If anything, you're paying for what. The work that's being put into the game.
I don't have a problem paying $10 extra for a product that has to be QA tested, that requires additional manpower, additional resources. Those things cost money, right? I find value in those things. They're tangible differences for me. And they really are. Like playing Ghost of Tsushima with the DualSense, and you pull back on that bow and you feel that tension. That shit's pretty badass. I like that. That's adds to the level of immersion for the game for me. I'm going to pay it. But you also have the option not to pay it. You don't have to pay the $70. You get the $60 version, pop it in your PS5, and be on your way. Options. Let me grab the super chat from Miko with the $5 super chat. Says, Xbox dudes will drop their draws when they see a new control released every month, but look at Death's Door $14 and say, I'll wait till Game Pass. That's pretty funny.
That's pretty true. Death's Door is a quality game, and I don't know how many people I saw that was like, it's not in Game Pass. I thought it was going to be in Game Pass. I'm not going to be like, dude, it's $20.
Yo, imagine buying an LG C1.
$1,500 right there.
Hey, yo, my shit was almost $3,000. I bought that shit like early when I shit.
Hey, did you get the 65-inch or you get the 55?
Yeah, I got the 65, man.
Yeah, that's a badass TV, man. That's what I got.
I want that shit to cover my whole damn. I want that shit outside the house. That's how
people walk past your place.
Knock down a wall. Knock down a wall.
Exactly. Knock down a wall for this goddamn TV. You understand? But you know, they'll spend all this money for like the TV, the setup, the entertainment center, and all this bullshit, but don't want to buy it. Like, yo, this shit's so backwards, bro. Like, look at what you spending money on, man.
Can I? Oh my god! Let me get this $5 super chat from B Staples. Jeez, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm don't know. I guess I'm kind of surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but the $5 super chat for B Staples says there would be way less commotion about $70 if every publisher is doing it, but it's about a 50-50 split with publishers right now, so there's confusion, in my opinion.
Because some publishers know they can't get away with it, and the game ain't built like that, bruh. If you got shit that's still releasing only on PS4 or on PS4 or PS5, it's always gonna be that split. Hogwarts is $70 across the board. God of War gonna be $70 across the board.
I don't.
If Ubisoft, who is still doing $60 for their games, had NBA 2K,
whoa, B Staples said
they will be charging $70 for it.
B Staples said Nintendo can't get away with $70 GameStop and Persona.
Nintendo don't gotta get away with $70. You're still paying $60 for Breath of the Wild 1 from 2017. What are you talking about, bro?
Nintendo.
You're still paying $60 for Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 still costs $60. Go look on Amazon.
Nintendo would charge people $80 for their first party games, and they would still sell.
Nintendo charged people more for a Wii U game that was $50 back in 2012, 2013, and they charged it for $60 now with almost no changes whatsoever, except for the controls being changed, which was needed because it's a different platform.
Bro, they ported Wind Waker to your ass. It says $60.
Nintendo can charge whatever they want. Nintendo's probably the only company that could do this right here. If Nintendo came out and said Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, $100 for the game, and it's on that underpowered trash Nintendo Switch, it would sell out in seconds. Seconds.
Yo, you know what's so funny, B Staples? Yeah, they was also saying Nintendo would never do a subscription service. They also said Nintendo would never have you pay for online. Look where they at. That's $70 coming. When that Nintendo Pro come out, that Switch Pro, trust.
$79.99.
Hey, yo, Slovo, talk to this man, bro. Trust. They can't get away with it right now. They know that they can still get $60 out of you for a game that they made 10 years ago. Wait, watch when that Switch Pro come out.
Oh, what?
I guarantee you're gonna see $70 games. I guarantee it, bruh. I guarantee it.
Especially if it's be on par with PS4 and actually still get current games from third-party publishers. There's gonna be $7 games on that joint.
Oh, absolutely.
They want 1080p 60.
Absolutely.
1080p 60. Oh, we're gonna charge more for that. Even though 1080p 60 should be that's not even the minimum no more. But as far as Nintendo is concerned, you want that premium? That's premium to them. You're gonna have to pay a premium price, sir. Yeah.
Let me grab the super chat from Sir X-Men. Says if you can't afford $10,
never on sale. We'll never go on sale.
Yeah, that's true. Won't. Sir X-Men with the $2 super chat says if you can't afford $10, get a better job, right? Jesus.
That's me.
That is kind of me. Hey, Erodimus says so we paying for the labor of the devs or the CEO new yacht for his side chick? We're actually doing both, sir.
Actually, nah, we just playing, but look, just keep it a buck. It's just,
my man, you can't. People got to stop thinking like that. The car you drive is paying for the CEO of fucking Honda, whoever's fucking yacht as well. The house you paying for is paying for somebody built that shit, and the company, the construction company that built that and all the bank. Come on, man, y'all gotta stop this bullshit, bro. Because it's all going to the ones that
Persona. It's only Persona. It's only an issue when it's video games. Erodimus is happily going to McDonald's, going to the drive-thru, ordering his 5-6-piece chicken nugget meal. Guess where that money's going, Erodimus? Your supersized fries going straight to the CEO too. I mean,
his yacht.
So Erodimus, you better not buy any consumer goods ever again, buy nothing.
Bro, the man got to move out of America, bro. The man got to go to a third world country, so he can't live here, bro. The very streets you walk on is you. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we? Like, come on, like, where?
This shit is fuck.
I'm telling you, this way of thinking, it only exists on social media. No one in the real world is thinking like this. I'm telling you, who the fuck thinks like that?
Yo, look,
Who thinks like that?
take your mortgage note. Take your mortgage note. Open it up. Look at it. Look, how much are you paying your total mortgage, right? How much is the premium?
Oh my God! You know what, Slow-Mo? Don't even talk about that, bro.
How much?
Bro, that shit hurts.
Bro,
how much is that principal? How much?
That principal.
Yo,
wait a minute.
The very site that he's on right now. The very site that he's on right now, YouTube, you lining the billionaires' pockets with just being on this site right now, bro. Yeah. What do we like? Who thinks like this, man? I'm like, that's a very like.
B Staples unhappy. B Staples unhappy about $10 extra for games, but he's dropped like $15 in my super chat already. I don't get it. I just this conversation it's baffling to me. I don't get it. And Persona, you're right, man. Like it's like only in gaming does this conversation happen.
Yeah, like people worried about the publishers already got it. Like people saying, "Oh, publishers can make enough money," and all this bullshit. No, I don't want to make the CEO much richer and all. So I'm like, bro, if you're not a business owner, you're making somebody else rich. And even as a business owner, you're still making other people rich. Yeah, like you're like that's just how this world is, bro. But you just got to know where to fit in on your end so that you making sure that you're not getting fucked. And if you think not paying an extra 10 for games is you not getting fucked, then hey, by all means, my end, I just got stock in these companies. So
wait, Rodimus says I work at
either way.
Rodimus says I work as an IT project manager, and you talk about bits, not tangible items that take raw materials to make. What?
As an IT project manager, Rodimus, you should know that the value of software is no different than the value of actual tangible items like code, programs that are created. Those have value, and the reason why companies want to protect the actual things that they create, the programs that they create, that they have like that are done in-house from other people, is that it's the value of their company. Look, I've worked for companies. I have no idea. Look, I've worked for companies that have created software, and based off of that software have got government contracts that no one else can get. If everyone had those products, those services that aren't tangible items, the company wouldn't exist. Like that whole argument doesn't make any sense, Rodimus.
I'm a senior, I'm saying admin and I build APIs. What the fuck? Like, what are we talking about here, man?
Because I made a comment about tangible. There's a tangible difference. Like tangible as in you could feel it, you could see it, smell it. Those are tangible experiences. That's what I was talking about. $10 because I think he's probably addressing the comment about the difference of the PS5, PS4 versions of games and the $10 difference. There's things that are tangible that you could feel. There's money, there's time, there's resources that go. I don't understand. You're an IT project manager, man. Come on. Oh my God. I got a headache now.
Can we move on? Because this topic is boring me.
Yeah, let's get to before we wrap it up real quick. Yeah, let's go to the acquisition, the organic acquisition, Slow-Mo.
Here we go. Here we freaking go. Yes, let's go to this. Now I'm not bored. Let's do this.
Slow-Mo got bored with the last topic because he's like, you know what, I've said my piece. People, So we have all right. So Sony has officially acquired I can't pronounce the last name.
Raymond. You can't pronounce Raymond?
No.
Okay. Jade Raymond.
What is
Jade Raymond? Thank you.
Enrique. Say the last name again. Say that.
Raymond.
What?
Look, man.
What?
Look, y'all need to leave me alone.
Just call her Jade. Just call her Jade.
Jade's, yeah. I speak 2 languages. Damn it, leave me alone.
Jade Ramen.
I sound like Forte.
Oh man, your Forte answered a word in a minute.
No,
don't put me in that list.
Forte doesn't like the conversation we're having. He's like, no, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right, y'all
was talking about some boring stuff.
All right, so Haven Studios was purchased by Sony officially. The acquisition was made, and yeah, this is look, Sony is in acquisition mode, as they have been for the last year. I don't know. Anyone surprised by this acquisition?
Not really.
As last year, I told y'all.
Go ahead, B.
Same cadence as last year. I told y'all this was going to happen. We should have about the same amount of acquisitions this year as we did last year. Is what I've been told. So same cadence.
5. It was 5 last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
They buying a publisher?
There's 2 publishers were on the table.
Hey, don't say everything.
Hey, we're going to talk on air, B. What you know? I need to know what you know. You feel me?
We may have to talk after the show.
No, I think real quick. I think the acquisition. I'm not surprised, right? Like I was saying on my show, I think the acquisition. Obviously, we haven't seen anything yet. So whatever Sony has seen, I'm pretty sure they're very impressed. But they still need to impress us, the gamer. But I think when it comes to the acquisition, the way the industry is moving right now, talent is extremely important right now, especially with the way the industry is moving. So PlayStation is locking down a lot of talent. And right now they've got some of the best minds in the business. Just look at the type of games that's being made. So people want to work there. So I think it's a good thing from the talent perspective, but we still need to see games.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say what I said when it was first announced, that it seems to me that Sony's extremely impressed with whatever that they've shown them so far of what they're working on, whatever multiplayer game. I've heard people say it's a MMO. I've heard other things. Whatever it is, it's a multiplayer game, and they're impressed enough to acquire the studio before they ever release a single game, and that's pretty rare. But at the same time, if you look at Jade Raymond, her track record, her history here, like she went to EA from Ubisoft. She ran the studio there. She didn't get a chance to launch a game, but still, people behind the scenes valued her talent and valued her enough to give her the shot at Stadia. And then similar situations happened with Google, but still she was valued enough that she starts her own studio, starts working with Sony, and they're like, yeah, let's just go ahead and lock this up. So clearly what she is working on, and a lot of the staff there at Haven are former people from Stadia. We don't know what they were cooking, but clearly these people are talented people, and it looks like what Sony is seeing from them
organic.
Is something. I don't know why you keep saying organic, because it's okay. So, like, clearly what they're seeing from them is exactly what they want from a first party. They feel that they are filling a void that they have in their portfolio. And that's awesome. So like, yeah, that's going to work out for them. Hopefully, when we see the game, hopefully it's something that is actually going to be good. That people can get into and can actually have some lasting value as a multiplayer game. Where so far, like games like Destruction All Stars weren't able to do that.
Yeah. I also think that that Deviation of Fire, or at least Deviation, I definitely think Deviation is on that list. They're next, or at least on that list, because.
Or Firewalk.
Firewalk, I found out, I realized they were with Pro Monster. I think they're called, or whatever.
Yeah, probably Monsters owns that studio. They own 2 other studios that are working on some RPG stuff, which I'm hearing there's some stuff that might be going on behind the scenes with that. Yeah, I think what they have with Jay Raymond. I'm a Jay Raymond stan. She made the best Assassin's Creed, or she was the producer of the best Assassin's Creed 2. So I've been following her career for quite a long time. So once she left Stadia and it was kind of announced that she was working with Sony, or they had kind of signed their first game with Sony, I was really really excited about it. And then to find out that they were actually purchasing the studio, it's pretty interesting. Just because we haven't seen the game, we don't know what it is, and then just based off of how they kind of describe the game, it sounds like similar to like an MMO, or you know Destiny like, or something like that along those lines. So I'm super excited to see what the game is, because obviously Herman and the team are super excited about it. They went ahead and purchased a studio, and they obviously feel like it's going to be pretty big for them. So hopefully we'll be seeing it soon, or at least seeing it teased. Hopefully by the end of this year.
Yeah, and the other thing is, for those who don't know, this studio actually pitched 3 games to Sony, and Sony actually wanted to pick up all 3, and then the studio's like, no, we want to focus on one. Don't want to stretch ourselves too thin. But this actually addresses, because this game's going to be, I think, a multiplayer game, if I'm not mistaken. So this addresses obviously something that we said Sony needs to have in their portfolio. They don't have that many multiplayer first party games per se, right? So this is big move. But like Persona said, we got look, as exciting as it is, considering the talent, because there's former Guerrilla employees that are there at the studio. We got to see the game. We got to see what they're working on.
Which is, we're not going to see that for a while. Like it's going to be years before we actually get a chance to see what it is they're working on. But like I said, it's cool that they're not the kind of company that would just buy a studio just because. Like, hey, we just want to have hey, look, we got another studio. Look at us. Like, they're not Embracer. So, like, I think them acquiring them says a lot about whatever they're working on, even though we may not know it for ourselves and be able to see it for ourselves. And shoot, like, maybe some of us on this panel, when we do actually see it, be like, oh, that's cool, but it's not for me. And that's fine, right? Because everyone has their own taste. But whatever they're seeing seems to be of a level of quality that they are willing to take that chance and just acquire a studio that, as of now, hasn't done anything, hasn't proven anything at all, because they have never made a game yet. And so, like, I bet that does say a lot about the level of quality of what they're making. So, yeah, I think it's it shows good, and we'll see what happens with it.
Yeah. Forte, any thoughts, man?
I mean, I think it's a good. What do you mean, why you say it like that?
Because that's what you usually like.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, honestly, it's like B said. It just really just comes down to it's probably gonna be a good fit for them. They actually went in early with them on this. It wasn't like something that was like a last minute thing. They actually saw something in the game that they wanted to develop, and they actually put some funds behind it and everything. So I just think in general that I'm always happy to see developers have more stuff that they can actually, depend on when it comes to actually getting their games and stuff out. Who knows when we're actually going to see this game? I mean, but until we get to that point, it's just really coming down to Sony just, building their portfolio in a way that they know how to do it, and people are going to be excited, and some people are going to be like, well, they're doing the same thing Microsoft is doing. And I mean, honestly, it just really just comes down to how you actually take it. But I think it's a good move for Sony, because they need to lock up as many people as they can to grow their base, because, it seems like everybody out here is trying to take a piece of the pie. So if they like what they see, the best thing you could do is put your money behind it.
Yeah, it's acquisition season, man.
That's all it is.
It is acquisition season.
It has changed from just, hey, we're going to partner with this independent developer because they got good talent, and we want to cultivate that relationship. All right, fam, look, before you end up taking a deal from our competition, let's just go ahead and just lock this down. What do you need? What's your price? We want to work with you long term. you know, and then there are going to be some companies that like that you're going to have to sit or get off the pot, so to speak. You know, I think they kind of did that with like Quantic Dream. They got off the pot with Quantic Dream. You know, they had a good working relationship with them for a little while, but you know, some of the internal stuff came out. Sony wasn't really down to be a part of issues where you know there's massive accusations coming out of the company of racism, sexism, and all kinds of other stuff. All right, fam, we out. You know, and you're it's like, especially if your games aren't selling the way that other games first party are selling, yeah, we're probably not gonna go take that next step with you. So like I think a lot of these companies are starting to get to the point where they're not necessarily like, well, we won't work with you ever, but like when it comes to potentially bringing you in as first party, some of the internal culture stuff needs to be something that is conducive to us, you know. And we've seen some issues where, like, say for example with Moon Studios, where you know some information came out about how they are internally, which is kind of disturbing, and how some of that stuff didn't jive with the Microsoft Xbox Game Studios publishing. But then they also went and got Activision Blizzard, who's got like all that stuff and then some. So it's like the money is the difference in money between what Moon Studios can provide and what ABK can provide, massive difference. So for them, it's just like, you know, what are we willing to deal with? And that's just going to be the way it is for going forward when it comes to these acquisitions. Is what are we willing to take on? If we can acquire this and make money off of this, what are we willing to try to rehabilitate? And what we not going to stand for and what we are going to stand for. And, you know,
Go ahead, Persona. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I also think from the perspective of like PlayStation, I think this is a good time because they are now getting their foothold in Canada. So now they've got a presence there. And I think with Haven, because right now Haven is only a 60-person team, I think them being on the PlayStation, I think they could definitely beef that up to about 100, 120, right? So I think it's good all around because more people could get in the door, and you got a foothold in a new territory now. So get even more talent, especially from places where the people might have wanted to work, but they couldn't because distance or whatever. So I think it's exciting on multiple fronts, but at the end of the day, what's most important to us as gamers, the games. And that's what we need to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts,
I just think in general, you're just going to see this happen more and more. There used to be a time where developers didn't want to be purchased. Think of Insomniac when Ted Price was like, I don't want to be bought by anybody. I want to be independent. And then something changed in that dynamic where he decided to, sell the company to Sony and become part of their first party studios and stuff. So a lot of things have basically happened. Sometimes it's just job security. Sometimes it's just the fact that it's just a great match. I think now developers it's a lot of the time they love the unknown, but right now is not the best time to like kind of tinker with the unknown because, things can happen in a moment's notice and stuff like that. So if you can get the opportunity for when these major platforms to actually take a crack at you and the money is right, I think that's going to be something that you're going to see continually happen. Microsoft going out and taking publishers and stuff is one thing, but these developers deciding to fold up shop and actually go under these bigger platforms is something that hasn't happened recently, but we're going to see it happen more at a greater clip over especially the course of the next couple of years until everything is finalized and everybody has their place inside of this new network.
All these developers acting like sports athletes.
Exactly.
Everybody want to get that check, man.
Yep. And they see them paying.
Based off what a lot of developers have said, Sony pays very well.
Yeah.
There's like good bonuses and whatnot. So I think this is definitely going to be appealing on multiple fronts.
Yeah, it's just like, we and Enrique was talking about it earlier in the chat, especially when you're talking about what's happening around in the NFL and stuff. Once you start seeing stuff like the companies and publishers and stuff getting purchased for 70 billion, 10 billion, EA going out and purchasing
Codemasters.
Not yeah, posting, and then you got 2K going out and purchasing $12 million for this and that. It's like at a certain point you're like, okay, what are we worth? If we were to throw our hat into the ring, what are we worth? And honestly, think about it. That's what that whole conversation we talked about with I think it was Ubisoft that was talking about what was going on with them. And they said, well, if somebody wants to purchase us, we'll listen, we'll take it to the board of directors and we'll see what that situation looks like. That's these companies actually out there saying, okay, yeah, this is nice. Let's see exactly how much we're worth. And if somebody's willing to overspend for us like anybody else. So that's why, it's just the beginning right now. But Microsoft opened up a Pandora's box that nobody thought would ever open. A publisher going out and spending as much money as they actually have. And, you got these other ones saying like, hey, we got to get our piece of the pie before there's nothing left. And the funny thing is, it's going to get smaller and smaller before you even know it. Where, like I said, everybody's going to have a team at a certain point.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. Like it's like you said, like what was it? The $1 Million Man? Everyone's got a price.
Everybody's got, dude.
Everyone's got a price.
Everybody's had a price. Everybody's had a price.
Yeah, I think when it comes to acquisitions, I've said this before, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie and be like, hey, I definitely want PlayStation to grab Square or Capcom or both, personally. But I think consolidation, right? I still think that's something where, once all these publishers and devs start getting locked down, because like, listen, this community, this industry is definitely about to shrink.
Yes.
Significantly, especially when you got Microsoft throwing around the money that they throwing around. It's about to shrink on like something crazy. So, I'm just like, I'm a bit worried because I'm like, yo, what is gaming gonna look like in 15 years? Like, what is this industry gonna look like in 15 years? And I think it's gonna look extremely, extremely different than what we're seeing now. Even in terms of like just what games are or what studios are even multi-plat anymore, or I should say third party.
Mhm.
It's going to shrink significantly.
Yeah, I remember you guys, you and Jay Barry having a similar conversation with Sean Layton on your podcast, which was awesome interview. I my favorite part is doing the super chat and you calling and you calling me slow-mo black slat.
Oh,
That's funny.
But no, like I remember you guys having a similar discussion with that, and I've seen Sean Layton make similar comments in regards to what does it look like? What is this gaming? The developers and the publishers, and who's independent and who's not. What does that look like, say, like 3-4 years from now? I've always kind of had like this thought that the ebb and flow of things is cyclical. It's going to be like, if some of these developers didn't get acquired, they just would have went out of business. I don't think we hear as often as we do about the companies that just gone. And I remember like in transitioning from the 360 PS3 era to Xbox One and PS4, like over 100 developers went out of business in like a 2-year period. And a lot of them were like prominent developers, and we just don't hear about that as often as we used to. And I think not necessarily they're all getting gobbled up, but I think that like some of the more prominent ones, because like there's still developers that are going out of business just because they can't keep the lights on. You're independent. Yep. You can't get your project approved by anybody. You just go under. But I think some of the more prominent ones, like Obsidian, was almost that company. Ninja Theory was almost that company. And those, instead of going under, the talent and creativity of those developers are still being delivered to us, the gamers, through being a first party. Now, yeah, you're gonna have to get that game on whatever platforms that company wants to put them on, but at least they are still able to make their games. And I think what we see when it comes to new independent faces filling in those roles. Like I remember a decade ago when it came to Western RPGs, everyone always talked about BioWare as the standard. No one looks at BioWare as the standard anymore. But what has come from like the corpse of BioWare, as I like to call it, you got Yellow Brick Games, you got Humanoid Games showing concept art this week about the new game they're making. You got Archetype Entertainment. You got all these former BioWare developers making their own studios and making the kind of games that people enjoyed at one point from BioWare. You got now when people talk about, well, what's the best Western RPG studio out there, they say Larian Studios. No one knew who the hell Larian was a decade ago, but they do now. And so I think like organically, so organic, Enrique, organically, studios will rise that no one has heard of, and they will fill that void and be that studio that people go, man, like they make good shit. Like, wow, who is that? They make good shit. And then there'll be those names, and then they'll pass away or they'll get acquired, and then there'll be somebody else to take that role too. So I just think that, like, I'm not necessarily worried about it. I just kind of feel like it will naturally kind of like balance itself out, if that makes sense.
It's like spring flowers, man. You put your bulbs in the fall, you know what I mean? They die off. Next year, they'll grow back. You know what I mean?
I think it's like that with, like, I think the other part of it too is like, out of like I wouldn't want anyone outside of the big three to get like any important publisher or dev, like real talk. Like I wouldn't want Amazon or Google or Tencent or any. I wouldn't want them to snatch anybody important up, right? Like a Capcom, a Sega, a Square, or some shit like that, a EA, a Rockstar or something. I would want that to stay within the big three. Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft. If it can't stay within the big three, I think that's when we have even bigger problems.
Yeah.
Really, out of those big three, it's crazy. It's crazy to say this, but Microsoft the only one with that type of money that can stave that type of shit off, right? So
right.
Which is interesting. You don't want Microsoft to have everything, but then it's like, damn, who can really stave off these other lions that's in the den? Because Amazon and Google and them, those are lions. You feel me? It's like, yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because like, what was one of Phil Spencer's little I guess like quotes after the whole Activision Blizzard deal? He kind of talked about that. He was like, he talked about how he trusts like Nintendo and he trusts Sony, and it's like people was like, those are your competitors. What are you talking about? What do you mean you trust them? Well, what he's really saying is that he trusts them to not like screw up the industry. He knows those are competitors.
He said that, yeah.
Yeah, what he don't trust is Google and Amazon to not screw up the industry. Like, he doesn't trust Amazon not to acquire Ubisoft, then after a year pull a Google and say, you know what? I don't think we want to do this no more. Just shut everything down. Turn all the lights off. We'll tell them tomorrow that they're done. Now that's a major publisher that's out. Because that's exactly what Google did to, what's the name of that company that made that game, Journey to a Savage Planet? I can't remember the name of the developer. They had to go make a whole new studio, but their studio, they got acquired, and then 3 months later they were gone.
I knew that shit was DOA when they hired Phil Harrison.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. But like, yeah, you don't trust. They don't trust these big, companies that are on the level of Microsoft to actually not do something that would be completely disrupt the balance of the gaming industry, all because, hey, you know what? We just really wanted to see if we can make a quick buck in this gaming industry. Realize we're gonna have to invest way more money in this than we thought we would. So we're out. Peace. And it's just like, but you just basically all the stuff that you acquired in your bid to compete, you're not like not selling that off to other people. You just let it all die. IP gone. People laid off. Thousands of people laid off all across the world. Like, what are you doing? And what I think what Phil was saying was he trusts that Sony and Nintendo wouldn't do some shit like that.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't. They're too invested in this.
They're
same
too
way
invested.
Xbox is too invested in this. You spend $70+ billion on the company, you're invested in gaming, whether people want to believe it or not. You're in it for the long haul. Whether you end up being third party and stop making Xboxes one day, or whether you are continue to make Xboxes to infinity, you're going to be in gaming forever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right.
Like,
Look, gentlemen.
Go ahead, unless the world's ending, Microsoft's not going nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're not going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere.
They ain't going nowhere, man.
No, they ain't going nowhere. Well, look, gentlemen, it is 11:22. Do need to wrap up the show because BRAP's got to take his ass to bed soon. And by the way, I just want to apologize to Aircuts for the win. Apparently, I spoiled the final boss battle for her at Elden Ring. So,
Enrique,
sorry about that. Yeah, I think we're gonna do like an Elden Ring podcast. I think on Tuesday on Luca's channel. So, I'll keep you all posted
on Tuesday. I didn't get the word from that. I feel like Luca trying to like freeze me out. She don't want me to be there.
No, I think she suggested Tuesday. So I'm not saying it's.
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like every time it's brought up, she don't ever say nothing to me. I talk to Luca literally every single day. She don't talk about this with me. I'm just like, I understand what's going on. I'm just going to crash the party. I'm just going to show up with a case of beer and be like, hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on in here? Yeah, let's talk about Elden Ring.
Oh my goodness, that's too funny, man. But yeah, so
the guy that's not an Elden Ring fan. Let's do that.
Yeah, but hey, want to give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us this evening, and appreciate the dialogue as always. And if you're new, hit subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. Also, hit the like button, please, as well. And want to give a big shout out to our returning guest this evening, Persona man. Hey man, great having you on, man. It's dude, it was way too long. We gotta get you and Barry back on here. Because I don't think I've ever had I've had you guys on separately, but I don't think I've had the What's Up PlayStation, panel all together. So we'll have to make that happen at some point. But man, no, seriously, thank you for coming on again. Appreciate your time as always.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, man. It was great talking with you all. Shout out to the chat, man. I really appreciate all of you as well. Make sure you hit the like button, man. Support the podcast, man. Support great people. And I hope you all have a great night and be safe.
Absolutely. And by the way, please check out Persona's YouTube channel. I'll drop the link in the description section below, and What's Up PlayStation podcast as well. That link's below. So, yeah, man, we got to get you back on again sooner than later next time, man. So, also want to give a big shout out to Forte and Slimmer who have their show tomorrow night. I just forgot the name of your show now. Oh, DPS.
Oh my God.
I'm getting old, man. I'm telling you, I'm getting old. I'm tired, man. I can't say Jade Raymond, and I forgot the name of your podcast, DPS podcast. You
still said it wrong. You still saying it like
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
It's like Jade has her own ramen soup that college students eat because they broke. Jade ramen. Get some Jade ramen. In your stomach. Anyway.
Jesus.
Oh my God. All right. So whose channel is it going to be on tomorrow?
It's going to be on my channel tomorrow. Come through. We're going to have the homie Agent Deli, ex Ubisoft developer. The homie, he's been on with us a few times. He's going to come on and hang out with us as we get through these topics tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. My channel, Slow-Mo Backslap. Come on through. It's going to be a good time.
No doubt. Please definitely check out DPS podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So going to be a great show as always. Slow-Mo, man, I'm glad you could make it, man. Bro, I mean that Red Bull did some wonders, man.
It did, man. It did. It's got wings.
Yes.
Jesus.
Got wings. Jesus, man.
Hey, yo, man.
All right.
Yeah, it's definitely time for you to go to bed, man.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, it's got wigs. Forte, man, always a pleasure, sir. Let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yo, great show. Thanks for coming through. Persona, always great to hear your commentary on stuff like this. Slow-Mo, I will see you tomorrow. Even though you said you were going to sleep through the whole podcast, you still found a way to show up because you have podcasting in your blood. And always a great show. Always a great show, BRAP. And B-Money, shout out to you. We got to have a talk after the show in the green room about all this stuff that you know. But for myself, Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. And make sure you check us out on DPS tomorrow. And you guys have a great day. Play the games that you're playing. Don't let the games play you.
Ooh.
And make sure you stop playing games on Twitter because that's not a legitimate platform for gaming.
Well,
Yo,
some
did
people.
Fortnite just use a players club line?
He told it. Did he really?
Club line,
Oh
bro.
my God, Forte.
What is going
Like,
on?
listen, man, you date yourself, man. You know,
Jeez. Wow. All right.
Go-
Thank you for that,
go
Forte.
play. Make sure you play the games to let the games play you.
Man,
Thank
you know
you.
what?
Thank you, Forte.
Look, he said that last week on DPS, and like when he said it, I was like,
I
"That
know that from somewhere.
What does that mean? Wait a minute.
Oh my
Where's that
God.
from?
That's
There
funny,
you go.
man.
Thank you, Persona. Thank you for
Hey, listen,
calling him
Persona.
out.
Hey, that just lets you know that Persona is super plugged in. That's all to let you know, man.
That's funny, man.
Absolutely.
That is funny. All right. And then last but not least, by the way, big shout out to Eric Jackson. Couldn't make it tonight. Miss you, man. We'll see you next week. Last but not least, B Money, man. Always a pleasure. Let everyone know they can find you, man.
Yeah, man. You can find me everywhere. Same name, same place. B-Money 101 everywhere. So if you're trying to play games, hit me up. That's my name on every console, PC, wherever you want to play. I'm there. Shout out to Persona for coming through, man. It's always great having you on here. And to the guys, man, another great Wednesday night. We got it in the books. So
Yes, sir.
see you guys next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
That's be knowing shit.
yeah, be knowing shit. Exactly. Yeah.
Be knowing stuff.
Yeah, and actually, I think tomorrow is the premiere of the Halo TV
is.
show, right? Double Kill. Yeah.
On
I
that
don't know.
Paramount Plus, right?
Paramount
Ray,
Plus, yeah.
Just don't be surprised when you don't get any things that are tied to the game.
Yeah, we should talk about that on Wednesday, by the way, next Wednesday. We should talk about the show, our thoughts, and then talk about the lack of lore, whatever, because I know that was Angry Joe had an angry rant about it. He was cussing.
It's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. You can do that, but come on now, you ain't got to admit that to the fans before you.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
I mean,
But you know, I think
they're gonna find out either way. So
Yeah,
Yeah, but at least
sure,
at
yeah.
least let us get into the show and not prejudge it before the show.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you kind of walk in there
Game?
like, looking at it
It's
sideways.
a
you know.
game? I
What?
didn't. It was just a game, really? I
Yeah,
don't know. Look, we made a show. And
yeah.
we
Anyhow,
called
all
it
right,
Halo.
yeah.
There's a Master Chief. I
There's a
didn't know
Master
there was a
Chief.
game.
It was Master
It's
Chief.
a video game.
Yes.
before? Wow,
Yeah,
that's good to
I didn't know
know.
this.
You watch. They're gonna. They're just gonna.
His Cortana gonna be Ronald McDonald or something.
Oh.
They're gonna show Master Chief's face off first episode, just off the break.
Hey yo, if they do that, that's a
You
L.
watch.
Oh, man.
Master
That's
Chief's
L.
face
Definitely
is gonna be
L.
the first opening scene. Hey Chief.
Oh,
His
man,
turns
if they-
around, his face and everything.
Man, if they do that, that's a massive L.
Well, it depends. If it's Kid Chief, then all right.
No,
Nah, it's
man.
it's gonna be full grown
No,
Chief.
man.
You seen him as a kid.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have seen him as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
seen Chief as a kid. Yeah, we seen him in that the Bubble trailer for Halo 3.
Mhm.
He's laying in the
We also
grass.
saw him when they did the little the movie for
Yep.
for Guardians when they kind
yeah.
of like the origins of Blue Team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What was the
yeah.
name of that? Hey, what was the name of that movie? By
I'll
the
tell you
way?
what,
Very forgettable.
that end cutscene, Halo 4 looked better than all of Halo Infinite. I'll just leave that out there.
Oh man,
Oof.
not like this.
Ugh.
Not like this.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We're out. Have a great evening. We'll catch y'all next Wednesday. Remember, like Forte said, play games. Don't unplay you, whatever. And we'll catch y'all.
You gotta
next
say
week.
it right if you're gonna recite
man.
it. You gotta say it right.
Okay, say it again,
Don't-
man.
Listen, don't. You gotta say it right, man. Don't go. Make sure you play games. Don't let your games play you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it,
you,
right.
Forte. Yeah. All right. We're out. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week. We're out. Peace.